The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey.
What?
Let's go!
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it.
Ah!
The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers,
You pig! Stop! Damn it!
be a friend, tell a friend something nice, could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this Week 15 Thursday, December 14th, 2023. This program starts now.
Football
is happening tonight as Easton Stick, the three-time national champion college football player, leads the Los Angeles Chargers into Sin City to take on Aiden O'Connell and the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, for the Los Angeles Chargers, who are getting 3 points on the road, they're out not only Justin Herbert, but also Keenan Allen and many others.
Yes.
Easton Stick, though, can spin it. He's been quoted as saying, hey, are we playing football? Right?
Yep.
He's playing football?
Yep.
I play a lot of football.
Yeah.
He's 49-3 in college.
Whoa.
That's a lot of football games. Now, it wasn't North Dakota State or whatever, so who was he playing? We don't know, but we know he can do that with a football. So has he spent some time around a football or two? Yeah, I'd say. Palmer's back in the lineup for him, so that should be another weapon. Austin Eckler's going to get in the end zone. We assume that's going to take place. But how about this Raiders team? There's a lot of people questionable for them as well. Aiden O'Connell was the decision that was made by Antonio Pierce, interim head coach, over Jimmy G and
Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer.
Yeah, okay.
So Aiden O'Connell had a good week of practice.
Oh, yeah. Crushed it.
There was a competition for who's going to get the chance to take the snaps here on Thursday Night Football on Prime and kick off Week 15, which will see Saturday games for the first time this season.
What?
3 of them, and then a full Sunday slate, and then a Monday Night Football game. It is a lovely time to be a football fan, and we can't thank you enough for joining us on this glorious Thursday. The Talks Table is here at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Got a snake on your shirt, don't love that.
Yeah. The snake's just part of it. I think the focus is the tiger. You just got to be aware of the snakes in your life, always, of course. But I couldn't be more pumped for Week 15. I came in this morning, I said to Ty, like, kind of a bummer, not many good games this weekend. Then all of a sudden I look, we got 7-6 versus 7-6. We got 6-7 versus 6-7. It feels like there are a bunch of good games.
Yeah, it's Super Wild Card Weekend, too, the way it's set up.
Yeah.
So,
all those games on Saturday, winning records, every single team.
boom. That's what, and we also, and then the next day,
Yeah.
Yep.
we are loaded.
We're in.
We are in a beautiful time. Plus, you throw in, there's some bowl games happening, too.
right.
Yeah.
Kicking off bowl season this weekend. It is lovely. Now, some people would say the Snakes are the NCAA. For some of the things that they
I'd
do.
agree.
We will have the Attorney General. Is that the name?
Yeah.
Yep.
Voted, right? I think
Yeah.
it's something that's voted. It's a political position.
Bingo, yeah.
It is the representation of the state whenever there's law shit. Attorney General of West Virginia, Patrick Morrissey, will join us. He was a part of a group that sued the NCAA in a federal court because of their transfer rules. And Raekwon Battle, the basketball player for West Virginia, has been given an injunction pretty much alongside every other NCAA player that they can play for 2 weeks here. And the NCAA can't rule that he can't because of the multiple transfer without a thing, whatever, because now that NIL is happening, there's money to be earned. So now you're taking away people's wages and earnings, so that becomes a much bigger conversation.
Yep.
So now it's a different group of people getting involved in suing the NCAA. So this could actually lead to something that maybe the NCAA could babyface and say, yeah, you know what? The rule's dumb. We don't really know how to kind of handle it anyways.
Yeah.
We got people transferring 4 times, playing 8 years. But if there's a couple situations where guys have to transfer for Raekwon Battle is mental health. I think Tez Walker was because of a family situation that was happening. Like, instead of having to hold these players in a terrible position, maybe we just say, yeah, those rules were at a different time and we just kind of let it go. Instead, the NCAA is probably still going to fight back and say, no, we want to hold these players out of the sport.
Of course.
We want to screw these players over. We don't care. And it makes no sense. We'll talk talk to Patrick Morrissey. Seems like he's involved in this pretty deep, and it is because Raekwon Battle is involved in it, the West Virginia basketball player who has a 2-week run here where he gets to play some ball. Good luck out there. Good luck out there, Raekwon. Michael Lombardi will join us in about 16 minutes. He's obviously an incredible paisano and loves to give out picks. One half of the Hammer, Dahn Cowboys, Tone Diggs is here. Tone, tonight, what's the play? What do you think Lombo's going to say is the play?
3 is it's a nice, clean number. I love looking at a good 3 out there. So the Raiders were 3-point dogs at home last week to the Vikings, and they lost 3-0. That was an absolute barn burner.
Oh, that was a tough game.
The Chargers, with Herbert being out, they only scored 6 points the week before against the Patriots. Could be a low-scoring one here in prime time that we've come used to this year.
34.5 is the over-under. It sounds like you will continue to ride
your
under horse. Yeah, the under 34.5, which good for Herbie and Al Michaels.
Oh, yeah. They're going to be pumped.
Herbie and Al Michaels are going to be calling a battle tonight.
Yeah.
And Herbie knows a lot about Easton Stick.
Yeah, he does.
He had to do a lot of research for it because the last 2 game days, every single year, start focusing on the FCS.
Yeah.
You start giving highlights because it's getting down to playoffs, and their March Madness setup, their tournament setup is
great.
Phenomenal.
The best.
The way it goes down is great with games on Friday night and then into Saturday. Like, it is great stuff. So he's done a lot of research on old Easton Stick. At least 3 years of that guy winning a natty being around. His freshman year, he didn't play. They did win.
Yes.
And then he goes in sophomore, junior, senior year. They win. A lot of football, which, speaking of, a man who was around football for 36 years as a coach. 18 in college, 18 in the NFL. Our coach, the show's coach, the program's coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Chuck Pagano. Chuck, he's played a lot of football. That's good news, right? Doesn't it feel like it for the Los Angeles Chargers tonight?
We'll see.
Oh, geez, Chuck.
Chuck,
what is that all about?
He was slinging it
Chuck,
last week.
what is that all about?
He can dribble the football.
I saw that. He went around the leg.
Sick.
Can you imagine how long it takes to build chemistry with the start when you have a starter and you go to training camp and then you get every rep? Herbert's getting every rep for every day for 14 weeks, and now we're just going to throw Easton in there and expect.
Yeah, welcome to backup quarter, Aiden O'Connell. What do you think Aiden O'Connell was doing with his mustache?
They ran the ball for 155 yards without Eckler. Back first time they played, Chargers beat them 24-17. They 155 on the ground. Mac had a huge day, but so Stick doesn't have to. He doesn't have to just put this whole thing on his back. Hand the thing off. Bubbles, be some quick, get him in a rhythm.
Maybe dribble it.
Yeah.
Maybe dribble it.
So
That'd be pretty sweet.
Like a read option.
they'll try to get him in a rhythm early, make it easy on him.
Crosses up Max Crosby.
I know he hates.
No Keenan.
I know that he hates that he missed the behind the back while they're filming.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm assuming in practice there's times where he's throwing that thing.
Yeah.
Clean.
And he's just absolutely doing it. That was years ago. I couldn't even imagine what he's able to do now. Hopefully we bust out and see some of this in warm-ups, because C.J. Stroud down there, he's playing a little baseball.
Right.
He's doing a little basketball.
Mixing it up.
Easton Stick, maybe that's just a part of his thing. Like, I need dribble football to make myself feel in the zone. And maybe tonight he's able to do that. Give the ball to Austin Eckler always seems like the right player. Remember, the Austin Eckler story is an interesting one because every time you see him play football, he ends up in the paint.
Yep. Yes.
Like literally every single time he scores a touchdown. This past offseason, though, he wanted a little bit more money. They said no. Then he said, trade me then. And then wasn't able to be traded.
no.
And then he came back and then he agreed to like an incentive-based deal that gave him an extra like $750,000 or something.
Yep.
Like he is one of the most undervalued people throughout the entire NFL right now with what he does, his production and everything like that. He was kind of the kickoff to the whole running back, we aren't happy, running backs are getting screwed conversation this offseason. He's a dog. Now on the Las Vegas side, Max Crosby, questionable, he's going to play.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He practiced yesterday. He was, of the guys that are questionable, he's the only one that practiced yesterday.
Yeah, he's Max Crosby. Like, that's just how that whole thing's going to go.
Dog.
On the other side, though, what are you thinking for the Raiders? What should we expect out of them?
A couple of linemen are out for them. They got a couple backups in there, so they moved the right guard, starting right guard to center. What's his name? Let me see here. It's Andre James.
Okay.
Andre James and Colton
name.
Miller, left tackle. In the right guard.
Every day he comes in here, it is a full-on. You know what I mean? We got the whole team. We got stats.
He's got the 2 deep.
He's got everything that he possibly. And then there's a whole nother stack of fun quips and stats. Look at this. Look at this thing.
My God.
Look at this thing. These are all stats.
You always use graph paper, Coach?
Hey, this is Coach.
We got Parham.
math
Parham
homework.
takes over at center.
This is a coach, by the way.
Yeah.
Can't help it. Has to.
Pen to paper.
And this is what coaches do for like just 15 hours a day, by the way, when they're watching it. So it's like.
You've saved my life.
No,
The
well-
show saved my life.
Well, I appreciate that you get to
Because you
do.
give me this football fix, so I don't know what the hell
Yeah,
I'd
but
be
you're
doing.
all the way
and
in
I'm
there.
grateful.
That's why whenever
Thankful.
you start talking about it, I think a lot of people listening are like, well, the right guard moved to center. It's like, did we know that?
No idea.
Was anybody know?
Absolutely
I mean, obviously, Raiders fans do that.
Yeah.
We appreciate them doing that. We don't get a chance to pay attention to the too deep
Correct.
for every single team every single week. You come littered with information. We are very grateful. So that's why whenever we look at your record on Thursday nights,
Yeah.
it makes sense. 8-4-1. That
man.
middle number, though.
Yeah, it's
Yodel,
yeah, creeping up.
yodel. Last week you were waffling and also vacillating.
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 That's a
off-
word.
Nobody, you didn't buy into that. Nobody bought into that. We looked it up this morning.
Accurate.
If it, right?
Yeah. Vacillating is basically altering between two options or something. Just like waffling
Yeah.
is in this entire thing. First time you ever did that, where you want one way and then you say, you know what? No, actually, I'm going the other way. And, there was a lot of things working against your brain to be confident in the first pick that you made. For instance, like we found out Styx was going to be singing the national anthem.
That's right.
And then we found out that there was a chance Ben Roethlisberger was going to be in it.
And he was.
And
He was.
And we
The end zones were yellow.
Boom. And we're using Color Rush. There was like so many things that you found out during the show that maybe made you waffle a little bit, but that waffle came with a big fat L on top of it. We've had a couple of those in a row now. Today's the day we change all of that. Cannot wait to get your entire pick. Let's stay with the Pittsburgh Steelers, shall we? Because an absolute legend of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger, 07.
Love you, Ben.
Love
Thank
you,
you,
Ben.
Seven.
Love you, Seven.
He has a podcast in which he is basically just a Pittsburgh dad at this point.
Yeah, he's just a fan.
He's
really
just standard Yinzer, Pittsburgh dad, fan of the Pittsburgh
Yep.
Steelers.
Awesome.
And everything he says is obviously going to get heard by everybody because he's Ben Roethlisberger. He was a guy who has brought a lot of happiness to the city of Pittsburgh, showed up every single week for the city of Pittsburgh. Sure, he was not perfect, but the city of Pittsburgh watched him literally grow from being a college kid to a full-grown adult who has have everything in between with a family and everything. He is beloved in Pittsburgh. That just needs to be known. Everywhere else. I don't know if that is known. Still lives in the area. This footballing podcast that he does is listened to by everybody in Pittsburgh. He said some real shit on this last one about the state of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have two clips. The first one's a little bit longer than the second one, but listen to his take here from the most recent footballing podcast about the state of the current Pittsburgh Steelers.
When I left, I was kind of the last guard there, obviously. Like, Pouncey left the year before, Dave left. Like, those guys left, and it was like I was the last one. There was such an age gap for me and everybody else on offense that there just wasn't that Steeler tradition passed down. And you have it on defense, don't get me wrong, but you don't have it on offense right now, and it's just making it really hard. You're not seeing, in my opinion, the toughness on offense. And I say toughness in the sense of a Steeler toughness. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with like okay, this guy's soft or anything. Like, Who's grabbing someone by the face mask and being like, that's not that's not what we do. That's not what we do.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, Spence.
Is that happening? And yes, again, you have guys on defense doing it, but you need guys on both sides of the ball doing it, because when you're in offensive meetings, when you're in offensive huddles, when you're doing that, you're meeting separately. You need someone to stand up in that room on offense and be like,
Got him.
hey, this isn't what it means to wear the black and gold. This isn't what has been handed down from those teams in the 70s.
Teams in the 70s,
Steel
that's a long time
Curtain,
ago.
the 4 Super Bowls, the Knowles, the Bradshaws, all those people. It's unbelievable.
50 years, Chuck.
And listen, I understand the further you get away from that, the harder it is. Sure. I get that. And
Unless
at some
it's being
point,
carried,
Unless
probably.
it's being passed
Shout out
down and
Spencer.
carried away.
Spencer's spot on right there. He knows
Spank.
exactly. But that is literally how Pittsburgh Steelers fans view the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's like, hey, we're a tough team. And the reason why we're a tough team and we're not an embarrassing team or an immature team or a team that bitches and all that type of stuff is because my father's Pittsburgh Steelers team was like that. And my father's Pittsburgh Steelers team was like that. This has been what football has been in this city since I'm yay big. You look around the city, you see the people that are there, hardworking people. love to have a drink or 10.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely
after
love to have a drink or 10. Loyal people, passionate people. It's like the Steelers represented the town in which they were playing for more so than maybe anybody else in the entire country. So whenever you hear Ben Roethlisberger talk about how serious they took that in the locker room, it makes a lot of Yinzers go 6 to midnight listening to Ben speak their mind about what's happening right now. And the fact that they mentioned the 70s, they're like, yeah, this has been passed down from the 70s in there. They're the most university college-like team in the NFL, where alumni just walk back in the building and it's just like, yeah, this is how it is. They actually have the same titles for plays on the defensive side and the offensive side, so that when alumni come back, they can talk to the current players about plays that they actually ran back in the 90s, back in the 80s, in the early 2000s. There's like a real tradition. Now, they've only had 3 coaches in the last 50 years as well, so that certainly helps with it all. But what Ben Roethlisberger says in this short clip is the worst fear for all the people in Pittsburgh, and it feels like the nightmare has become a potential reality for Yinzers. That this team ain't going to be the team you've seen for the last 50 years of football.
Maybe the tradition of the Pittsburgh Steelers is done. Maybe it needs to be formed a new kind of way. I don't know.
Oh, no!
Benny.
How do you say that?
Well,
I mean,
he's just,
what do you mean, Chuck?
he's just watching.
That's right.
He's just watching. He is a Yinzer dad that he lives in Pittsburgh.
That's it.
Loves the Steelers and watches the Steelers. Tone Diggs, I assume everybody has heard this. Have you had discussions with your little "we'll take a bullet for the Steelers" group that you have?
Yep.
And what was the reaction to Ben saying this and basically saying the thing that all the fans have been saying?
Yep.
But from a much different perspective, because he was in that locker room for, 18 years or whatever it was for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, the we'll take a bullet for the Steelers group will still always take a bullet for the Steelers. Now, will they take a bullet for, the players in the organization right now? I don't know about that because they used to.
Oh, geez.
Or the coach? I don't think so, but they would used to.
Jeez.
Or the
I mean,
coach.
because that's how it carries over. Like he talked about the 70s to the 90s to up until 2017, it was always the coach that kind of carried it over, and there was players that held over. But Ryan Clark said the same thing the other day on this show. I know those dudes went back in the locker room today, and they would probably just throw up everywhere because of how disgusting it's become.
Okay.
I mean, you could see it. You could tell. Everyone could see it. I mean, it's gone. It's done, and there needs to be wholesale changes to fix it.
Jeez, Tone obviously has been feeling this way for a while. He dressed up as the devil. Well, I'm sorry, Matt Canada,
Right.
Yeah, Matt
who
Canada.
happened to have red skin and
Sunburn.
a
Couple
horns,
horns,
as if he was the devil. Chuck, you hear that? Tomlin has to be hearing this stuff as well, especially when Ben Roethlisberger's saying it, because how much success Tomlin and Ben had together.
You went
and
against him a lot,
How
Chuck.
high respect him. We did not. I mean, Jim Irsay needs to pipe down.
Yeah. Well, he's got a point.
Jim Irsay, I love everything that Jim says.
Sure.
But we don't need in the kickoff announcement of the Steelers Colts game, first Saturday schedule of the NFL year, 4:30 game, say, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. It wasn't in a room.
No.
Okay? Nobody was talking about this particular elephant. The room was empty, okay, until you threw it in the middle. He got a 757, put a bunch of things around an elephant, and flew it right in the middle of the room with this particular tweet right here. We are 6-26 all time against the Pittsburgh Steelers, going all the way back to 1957.
I would have never known that.
Well, I would have.
We were there for a long time, too. I never knew. I knew we lost a few games, but...
A few, Chuck?
Few.
Well, I'm
26
just
of them.
saying I didn't know it was this.
Well, no, I mean, there has been a win since 08. Were you there past 08?
Well, we contributed to the
I just told you,
26, okay?
Tone.
Shut up, Tone.
Jesus.
We're trying to.
I mean, he threw the best pass ever.
Thank you.
Against these guys.
Thursday
Thank you.
night.
Gave us a chance.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Swopester.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to do that and letting Tom McMahon call that. We drew it up on a napkin the day of, so that was the least prepared one we've ever had. So I appreciate you,
Work.
Chuck. You're the man for
Not
that.
for the hair. We'd have had a fake field goal, but Troy ruined that one.
Of course.
A lot of shit between these two.
Those were good old days. That field goal would have worked 17 out of 17 times today.
But I would. Oh yeah, I'm walking
point.
right in.
Walking it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Minka might have read my energy a little
He-
bit. Who
Minka,
knows?
yeah.
And Cam Hayward's head might have been able to do it, but Troy Polamalu obviously had that sixth sense on the field. People say Ike Taylor told us that Jesus Christ actually talked through Troy Polamalu. That's why he was able to guess what everybody was going to be doing there. But I think we all would have assumed that Peyton and the boys would have won more than 6 times. You know, I don't think anybody knows that this is this lopsided.
Yeah.
Until the owner of lopsided against team is like, did you know we stink against this team? Anyways, Jim, keep firing it. Keep spinning it, Jim. I appreciate it. And being a guy from Pittsburgh who played for the Colts, obviously this particular tweet was not great for my text messages. Hey, I don't know if you saw. a lot of, I don't know if you saw. But anyways, Mike Tomlin, he hears this. The team definitely hears this. And when it's coming from somebody that used to be in the building, I think that hits even more. And Cam Hayward, I think, has probably addressed things that Ben Roethlisberger has already said in the past. And I think that's why Ben said on the offensive side is what I'm referring to as opposed to the defensive side.
You notice he stayed clear.
Yeah, he did.
On the other side.
And I will too, because Cam Hayward actually said to me, like, hey, Pat McAfee's overreacting a little bit. It's like, all right, hey, listen.
At one point, Ben did say Cam, Minka, and TJ, obviously, are defensive leaders.
In the same exact show or whatever. But what does Tomlin say to the team, more specifically the offensive side, that hears this from Ben Roethlisberger? It means something, or does he just try to keep it out of there on a short week? We're playing on Saturday instead of
Why
Sunday.
are you going to address it? I mean, the first thing I'd do is pick up the phone and you need to come down there and have a sit down with Ben.
Ooh.
Who's that?
Tomlin.
Get him back on the field.
Got it.
And I don't know how much. Is he in the building? Is he around there all the time?
No, but he's around.
He finally went to one game, right? He's been to one game.
Oh, sounds like
Jeez,
you're saying, hey,
No,
Ben, we don't need
Chuck,
more
you saying
problems.
this-
Look,
Chuck, you
if
saying
you're
the
here
Steelers
on
are
the
the
day
same?
to day, if you're here, Wednesday, Thursday, you're at practice, you're this, you're that, you're hanging out, you got a feel for our locker room, you got a feel for our guys, you know exactly what's going. I mean, it's easy for all of us to sit back and look. It's a dumpster. We need a quarterback. One thing that if you have a quarterback, he's not saying shit. Nobody's saying nothing. You're winning football games with this football team.
And if you don't have a quarterback.
And if you don't have a quarterback, I don't care what level. We all know that. It's really hard, right, Con?
Oh, yeah. They're exactly.
Oh, hey, I like that. Deflect over to the Patriots.
Well, no,
They're
but
the same situation.
it's real. Yeah, like I've told Tony and Nick, like, hey, the Steelers are just a year behind the Patriots. And my worry, or not my worry, because I don't really give a shit what happens to the Steelers, but what Tony
aren't
should
you
be
so cool?
Well, what Tony should be worried about, and this is something that I was worried about around week 6, 7, is like, are the Steelers ever going to be a team that loses this many games? Like, it's you can make the argument they won't because of guys like TJ and Cam and Minka. Like, those guys aren't going to lose 12 games. They just won't. Whereas New England, like going into this year, it was, if Mac doesn't play and he can't score, if Malik Cunningham comes in, then we're going to be 500 forever. That's where a lot of Patriots fans were, and that is like what the Patriots were last year is what the Steelers are this year. It's the exact same thing.
Tone, how does this all end before we bring in another Italiano to discuss everything happening around the NFL?
I have a hard time seeing how it turns around without a new voice.
Ooh. Joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, is a man who has had to make a decision like that one in the past. He is an author, a talker, a speaker, an email newsletterer, a prolific tweeterer. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the program, host of the Lombardi Line, host of the GM Shuffle, founder of the Daily Coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
How we doing?
Hey.
How is everybody today?
Hey, it's not great in Pittsburgh because what Ben Roethlisberger said on his podcast. I don't know if you got to hear the entire clip. We just ran it, so we won't run it again. But basically, he said the Pittsburgh Steelers thing is probably no more because the hand-down of it seems to have missed a leg to the offensive side to this particular group. And I just asked Chuck, like, what's he doing if he's Tomlin? He's like, I'm not addressing it. I'm keeping that. I'm not bringing it up to my guys, but I am potentially inviting Ben Roethlisberger down for a conversation to see how the day-to-day is. Chuck sounded like he was at a point where he's like, Ben, you don't need more, through Tomlin's eyes, pretty much. What are your thoughts as a former GM whenever somebody who's as important to Pittsburgh as Ben Roethlisberger is, as synonymous to the Pittsburgh Steelers as Ben Roethlisberger is, to say something like that about your program? How are they handling that in the building, you think, Lombo?
I think what Chuck said is right. I mean, if he had a valid point, you would say, hey, Ben, I appreciate it, and if you feel that way, certainly call us on the phone because we would welcome your advice. But the one thing I don't think Pittsburgh lacks is toughness. Like, I don't see that as the issue. They win because of their toughness. They win because of their determination and persistence. They're not winning or moving the football because they don't have a quarterback. I mean, look, the hardest thing to do in sports is to figure out why you win and why you lose. And when you get into that arena, everybody has an opinion. You know, everybody will say, well, the Chargers just need somebody to run their offense and Herbert will be good. That's not true. You know, the Patriots just need this. They need a quarterback. You know, this should happen or that. It's never about one thing. And when you do watch these teams closely, as we all do, toughness doesn't resonate when you watch the Pittsburgh Steelers. They have that. They just don't have enough scheme, enough creativity, and the quarterback to execute all those things.
I think we're going to call you back. The connection's a little bit slow on our end. We got your whole answer there, though. It was not wasted. The toughness isn't just like physical toughness. I think you're talking mental toughness and like accountability and all that stuff kind of rounds in to what the Pittsburgh Steeler way has been. And I think the reason why fans can kind of point it out is because it's pretty obvious whenever you see things that are happening on the offensive side. It's like this is not the same Steelers team that we've watched for a long time. But how long has it been since you've seen like the Steelers team that has resembled the Steelers team in your mind
17,
and what a Steelers team
17
is?
with the Killer Bees.
So that's 6 years ago? Half a decade.
That team was filthy.
So much fun. And Boswell was that was when Boswell got to the team, right? He was the fourth B.
Yeah.
Because it was Bryant, Bell, Brian, and then Ben and Boswell. And it was an offensive juggernaut that was tough to stop.
Yeah.
Tough to. You remember Martavis Bryant, the alien?
That dude.
He went for like 400 against us.
Yeah, I do.
400, I think. I still see him running. But it was impossible because you had Antonio Brown on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really.
But if you have a quarterback, a real dude, even Andrew as a rookie, he's still, because of who he was and his work ethic, those young receivers, all those young guys that came in with him, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, those guys ain't acting like they're acting if they got a real dude under center, because that guy's controlling all that. The position coach and that quarterback. And he's not letting them get away with that bullshit.
Joining us now, again, hopefully with a better connection on our end, not on his end, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lombardi.
I agree. Chuck's right. I mean, look, the quarterback, this is a big issue around the league right now. The quarterback's personality has to manifest itself through the team. Why do you think there's such a disconnect in New Orleans? You know, his personality can't really come out and lead the team and be the leader of the team. It's what happened in New England. You know, you got to have that. You got to have a guy who can walk in the room and say, fellas, this ain't good enough. You know, I love this. Everybody talks the Raider way, the Raider way. Well, the Raiders haven't won in 40 years. I mean, they got a 44% winning percentage since we went to the Super Bowl in 2002. Since they went to the Super Bowl in 83, they've got a since 02, it's 37%. Since 83, it's 44%. But when we had Rich Gannon for 3 years, we had a dog. We had a guy that set the culture. He created the way. He made everybody line up. He made sure that everybody fell in line. And it had nothing to do with the emblem or the shield. It had everything to do with that guy. And if you don't have that guy under center, it's hard, man. It's really hard to win. You got to have a guy who's going to make everybody else better on and off the field.
Yeah, Rich Gannon was the guy watching.
Weapon.
We have a friend named Hambone, actually, who still to this day, as soon as he picks up a football, he goes, Rich Gannon, pump fake, and then he throws the ball afterwards. He changed the whole entire complexion of that team, and that's what a quarterback can do. Let's talk about another quarterback that I assume you hold near and dear to your heart. This might be the most Italian human that has ever played in the NFL. In New Jersey for the Giants. His agent is the most Italian-looking agent of all time. Pinky ring, hat, three-piece suit, Italian horn, the size of his sternum, kissing, obviously, Tommy DeVito's dad, who owns a plumbing company, who has
of course he does.
The marketing.
Of course he does.
Exactly.
Yes.
And the marketing photo is actually their plumbers dressed up like Mario and Luigi. This is the most Italian story in an Italian-riddled NFL that I think I've seen in some time. And he's ignited the boys over there. Obviously, they're playing with some energy, and they're one game out of a wild card spot, even though ESPN Analytics, which I don't know what this means, gives them a 0.4% chance of making the playoffs. Once again, have no idea what that means, because who knows what's going to happen in any of these games. I guess AI does, and that's what the future looks like. He can run. He can spin it. He's got moxie. The boys seem to love him. And the New York Jets fans, or New York Giants fans, I'm sorry, I think are massive fans as well. What is your take on the Tommy Cutlets, Tommy Bolognese, Tommy DeVito story, Michael Lombardi?
I think it's a great story. Look, I think it's tremendous. I think it's going to have a shelf life. And I don't want to burst the bubble, but it's going to have a shelf life. Like, I think, to me, Chuck, look, you're playing the Giants. You're Joe Barry. You're sitting in your team room on Tuesday afternoon, and you sit there and say to yourself, okay, what will they do to my defense? What are they going to do? They're going to run the quick game, and they're going to try to run the ball. And they're going to have some variation of quarterback runs. So I got to stop that. Not a hard game plan to stop, right? But when you let the guy, the clip you keep showing there, they had 3 guys past the quarterback. I hate to break the news to you. The worst place to be in football is past the quarterback because he's yet to turn and run that way. So, you've got to be able to coach and take away what he does and take away what he wants to do. He's got 10 rushes for 71 yards. You can't let him have that. And so, to me, the more tape he gets, the more people are going to say, okay, you're going to have to make throws. You're going to have to read it out, make coverages. Look, I think it's a great story, and I think the kid's tremendous, and I admire his Italian heritage and from North Jersey, everything about it. I get. But this is a league of talent. And to let him go 3 for 3 in the red zone and make plays and not control him in the pocket with your pass rush, I think as Belichick would often say to the team, we deserve what we got. We deserve what we got. And Green Bay deserve what they got.
Look at that ball. There's a couple. He's on the run. He's putting that thing in a bucket, in a breadstick basket. Yeah. You're talking about literally.
You bring me back. All right, you bring me back when it happens. I mean, look, it's a great story. I appreciate it. It really is. But you guys can keep going down that road all you want. You know, Green Bay did as much to help him. I think it's tremendous. And look,
I think it's tremendous.
He proves the point that I was talking about earlier. The players buy into him. I mean, they like him. And when you like somebody, you play better. I think it's really a commentary on how the quarterback has to be the leader of your team. We're going to get ready to go into this NFL draft. And if you're going to take the guy the first pick overall in the draft, you got to make damn sure, A, the players like him, and B, he can be the face of your franchise because they're going to gravitate towards him.
Yeah, there's going to be about 250 people at his birthday party, and a lot of them are going to be his teammates, which is good. We all saw it on draft day. Right. Kevin Costner noticed none of his teammates were at his birthday party. Yep, that's an immediate tell here on what type of leader he's going to be. Tommy DeVito not only has his Italian family and other Italian families that are close to his Italian family, showing up with envelopes. How's your family? Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy birthday. You also got the entire Giants family now showing up. And hopefully everybody's coming in their pinstripe suits.
Oh, yes.
Yep. I hope it is. I love it. Michael Lombardi.
Here's what I will tell you.
Paisano.
Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Okay, the betting market. We all love the betting market, okay? The Carolina Panthers, who we acknowledge are one of the worst teams in the league, they went into New Orleans last week. They were a 6-point dog, and the line got bet down to 4.5 by kickoff. The New York Football Giants with Tommy DeVito leading the show, they're a 6-point dog going into New Orleans, and the line hasn't moved an inch. Maybe it'll go to 5.5. I'm just saying, I don't think all the Goombas who do the betting are on the same train.
You're allowed to say that. I am not, although I do have an Italian whore.
Yeah, so we can't.
I think he's saying Dennis Allen. You're saying Dennis Allen. He's going to get a real defense and real defensive coordinator shut this guy down, right?
Bingo, Chuck. He's going to do it. He's going to control him in the pocket. He's going to
Pagano.
What's the deal?
Michael Lombardini. This is disgusting what you are doing to Tommy DeVito right now.
Joe Barry's not a real DC?
Yeah, what are you talking about? Joe Barry's got 9 1s across the board over there on defensive side, Ty. Ain't that right?
No, he absolutely stinks. He's terrible. He has been terrible since he got the job. Lombo knows. He hears it from his cousin all the time. It's
all the time.
Yeah.
Your cousin, how's your family? That's awesome.
My cousin, who's named Vince Lombardi, who was on the pod last week, has been complaining about Joe Barry relentlessly, and I kind of back him off a little bit. But last week, the first text started coming in 10 minutes after the game started. I couldn't argue with him.
I will let you know that this Tommy DeVito situation has certainly confused some people that are new to watching the show.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Patrick McAfee. Yes, I am the Irish kid amongst a bunch of Italian. But 23andMe told me 0.01% Italian.
Sorry about it.
So I'm sorry about it. I got the Italian horn. I've been blessed by the Gabagool gods, I do believe.
That's right.
Multiple times. In the Tommy DeVito story, I love it. And I would like to see it continue to go.
Yeah.
Just because the show off the field is only going to continue to build. As somebody that grew up within the Italian culture, it's only going to get better in this entire thing. But sounds like Lombardi, Pagano. You have anything to say to Julio?
I'm a believer in Tommy.
How about you, Maraldo? You out on?
I love Tommy Cutlass.
Okay, all right. See, that sounded sarcastic. Let's move forward. Con Man has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, Lombo, obviously, 2 nights ago, the world was kind of set ablaze after a report per NBC Sports Boston, Tommy Curran, about the decision being already kind of made with Bill Belichick leaving New England after the Germany game against the Colts. Now, I'm very curious to hear what you think about sources inside the Patriots building and how those work, because obviously Tommy Curran has been covering the Patriots for damn near 3 decades, so he does know people. But when it comes to this situation, how do you think information's going to get out? Should we just kind of completely disregard everything because sources when it comes to Bill and the Patriots are always kind of iffy, or do you think there is some smoke to this fire, and do you believe that Bill will still leave after the season or stay?
Well, I do think Curran certainly has sources, and I don't think he would have put this story out unless he felt really comfortable with it. He's done a great job. He's covered the team for a long time. I found it interesting that it came out this week as opposed to the week they came back during their bye week or the week before they played Tommy DeVito in New York. I think the timing tells me that what the message really is we are not going to fire Bill Belichick in season. So if we lose by 21 points on Sunday to the Chiefs, don't come ask us that we're going to fire him. I think this is a question that has to get addressed, not for today, but how does this look 5 years from now? When you win 6 Super Bowls and you have as much success as the Kraft family has had with Bill Belichick, I think you have to think about this next move you want to make in terms of where does this put us 5 years from now? Because they're going to be you can't take the Super Bowls away. You can't take the prestige. You can't take the honors away. So the relationship has to maintain itself. And we can amicably sit down and say, look, we want to change direction, or maybe I want to change direction. Whatever that conversation is will happen at the end of the year. That's fine. But I think the partnership that has produced historical wins needs to at least respect one another at the end of the year to do it the right way, whatever the right way is. Whatever the right way is it bring them back? Is it not bring them back? I think that's really the issue here, is do it the right way. This happens all the time in sports. We see it. But just do it the right way.
People are comparing them to an old married couple. They've grown together. They've seen a lot of success together. There's been drama together. And obviously they're going through it right now with a lot of public scrutiny taking place and all eyes on them. First time that Robert Kraft has been in this type of position in his 30 years of ownership. And getting a chance to chat with him this past weekend, it was an honor, obviously. And then getting a chance to chat with Bill was awesome. I mean, that was cool up there, man. And I know that you gave a little nudge to Bill to potentially do that. So I appreciate you helping that whole thing out. But, whenever I said to Robert Kraft, I don't envy your position, I don't envy your position right now, because what? You can extend Bill. Mm-hmm. You can ride out one more year with Bill. You can decide to move on from Bill. That is not an easy... That's not an easy thing, though. That's going to have to happen over there, right? That's not an easy conversation that's going to take place. How does that convo happen? Bill comes into Kraft's office, and they just sit down, and then do you think they take a trip down memory lane where they were? Do you think it's an amicable conversation? Do you think there's a little bit of tenseness? How do you think that goes as somebody who's probably been in a room where something like this has happened in the NFL before?
Well, I think what the conversation is going to center on is the shape of how they visualize the company running over the next 10 years. They've had one man in charge of the team for so long, right? They've had what I call the Lone Star model in the NFL, which is one guy runs football operations, players drafting, and the coaching. That Lone Star model has produced tremendous success. But maybe the Kraft family has decided we don't really want the Lone Star model. Maybe we need a more collaborative effort as we get later in our careers and as the head coach gets later in his career. And so maybe they sit down and say, hey, listen, we want to do this with the organization, and the vision we have is going to move forward doesn't support the Lone Star model. Again, this is all hypothetical. And so I think that's kind of where it is. How do you see this organization running for the next 10 years? And you're not going to replace Bill Belichick. You're just not going to do it. I mean, you're not going to do it from a coaching standpoint. But perhaps you can replace him from 3 or 4 more people and have a collaborative organization, which is what I think that's the conversation. And if Bill says, yeah, I think I could do that, then maybe he stays. If Bill says, no, that's not in the best interest of me, then maybe he goes. To me, that's why I don't see it as a completely done decision, because this is really about the future of how we want to run the company.
You've been in that building a long time. You're obviously a confidant, I do believe, with Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick won some prestigious award, and he was only able to invite like 8 people to come with him.
Sure.
Paisano was one of them.
About
So, like, when you speak, obviously, we're all going to listen. Just like Tommy Curran, who's been around for 28 years up there, when he speaks, we're all going to listen.
Yeah.
What you just said there, I had not heard yet. Now, on the flip side of that, Chuck has a question because of how close you are to the situation.
Hey, so if he is out of there and they decide, that this is not how they want to run the company, Conman's mentioned Mayo as a possible successor to kind of keep that. But Bill had Caserio, he had Peel, he had you, he had guys, right? I don't even know who's in there now. But if he goes, does he go and take another job to help, like Steve, get Steve with him, another one, and then go to a place where, he maybe coaches another couple of years and then his son maybe becomes that guy, or to help secure his future in the National Football League?
Yeah, how do you think it plays?
I think this. I think the people that achieve this level of success, and you're going to have Nick on later, and Nick is the same way. I think they fall in love with the work, not the results. Ooh. And I think Bill loves working. I think he loves the head coach work. I think he's 3-10. He doesn't love that, but the preparation for Kansas City is the same as if he were 10-3. And so you can't remove the work. We all become institutionalized to the work. And I think he loves the work. And so if that doesn't work out in New England, where the vision isn't correct in terms of where they want to go, then I'm sure somebody will be interested in having him do that work for them, because he still loves the work. And I think you guys witnessed it this weekend. His energy level is still good. He works extremely hard. He's on top of the game. And so why wouldn't he want to keep doing it? I think, to me, as we get older in our professions in the National Football League, we get sent to pasture when actually we're probably better now than we were when we were getting jobs at such a young age. I know for me, I wasn't ready to be a GM as young as I ended up being one. But, that's the cycle that you go through, and I think experience does matter.
We need to get you back in there, a GM job. If you want it.
Right. No. I'm good right here where I am. I'm good. I'm good right here. I would be the first guy to go crazy on the, we're not going to go for it on 4th down in the middle of the first quarter at their own territory. I might lose my mind. I might jump out of the building.
You with a headset on like your Cesario that first year. What are we, punt?
Come on.
We're punting the ball. We are punting the ball.
You will never see me in that. I think there's a time and place for the GM. I don't think the GM should be on the sideline of the game. I think the best thing
Lumbo,
the GM can do is be.
They're all down there now.
What do you mean?
Everybody's down there.
Who?
I don't understand that. I think
GMs, assistant GMs, there's so many guys down there. I don't know how
that real? Hold on. This is a big deal now, because this is a big change. There's a lot of GMs down there.
Yes, every sideline you look on, that guy's down there.
It's true.
Chuck hates that.
Yeah,
for me, I think the GM should be in the background. It's the coach's team. We're not baseball. Baseball's a different sport. The general manager has to play the role behind the scenes, helping the team be built, not the focal point. Because the players work for the coach. They stand in front of the coach, and they work for him. And you're controlling the money as the GM, which then interferes with your decision-making process if you get too close or the players don't trust you. So I don't understand that. I see it today because of the world we live in with social media. I don't agree with it. You'll never see me with a headset on ever, because I wanted to stay in the background. I think it was important. I was trained that way.
There's an owner on the sideline here in Indianapolis.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I think she's just trying to learn stuff, obviously getting dropped in there for whenever she has headset, armband,
QB wrist,
whole thing.
Couple sleeves.
She looks So cool, though. I'm going to say she looks sweet. Carly Ursay is who I'm speaking of. She has sweet outfits over there.
The one leg sleeve.
Yeah, she has the heads. I think she's just trying to learn operations and everything. Whenever she first got into the building, which was like the first year you guys were there, she had like Matt Hasselbeck coming in, teaching her like she has tried her. She wants to learn everything as much as possible.
Sponge.
Which is awesome.
Andrew Berry, who's the GM at Cleveland, he was teaching her a lot of football.
Yeah, so she's super smart, a lawyer, I think. So she's looking out for the future of the Colts. But like the image of her on the sideline with a headset on will always be hilarious to me. Like always, it's like the coaches know. Okay, so now which channel
Can you imagine,
is she
Lombo?
on?
Can you imagine? You know those conversations.
Which channel is she on? I couldn't even imagine.
So Jim's like,
I couldn't even begin to think. I couldn't even begin to think. I would get phone calls in the press box from certain people about the calls that were being made that I couldn't change or call, but they were just venting because that's just kind of what you do. Look, sitting next to an NFL owner at a game is a dangerous proposition. It's very dangerous because the emotions go so high and so low, and you're sitting there and taking the brunt of it. That's not a place to be either.
I've heard stories of like me hitting a shank, which happened few and far between. Let's relax. But like me hitting one, and Jim Irsay immediately going, "Oh, Pat can't kick a ball," and then like actually like kicking a garbage can like near him. It's like that's hilarious to think about. Me taking a snap, punting a ball, it not going well, and Jim, I can kick this garbage can. He can't kick a ball. Like just with every play, obviously, but that's how you want your owner, right? You want your owner to be invested. But obviously, it's a new time. It's a new day. We talk about Andrew Berry over there in Cleveland. He made a massive move. Tone has a question for you, Lombo.
Yeah, he did. We were talking about shelf life with Tommy DeVito. Is there a shelf life for, Super Bowl MVP Joseph Flacco and the Cleveland Browns, or is that a different story because Flacco's playing
lights out,
unbelievable, and then on the backside of that, not playing lights out. 2-4 in their last 6, averaging 19 a game.
Whoa.
The Chiefs. How do we feel about the Chiefs after we do Flacco?
All right, so Flacco to me is, if you go through Flacco's great year, the years he had the most success, Gary Kubiak was the play caller in Baltimore. And, they ran an offense, especially the year we beat them in the playoff game where it was 27-13 or whatever the score was. We had to come back from 2 touchdowns to win the game. Yeah, Flacco was playing really well. In that offense, Flacco's really good. That's kind of what he belongs, and you could see it the way he is, and you could see the way Stefanski calls the game, how much confidence he has in Flacco. And so I think, to me, it's been really impressive to watch, and it proves that quarterbacking often fits. The system's got to fit. He likes the system. There's no question. Now, they got offensive line issues all over the place. 3 of their starting 5 offensive linemen may not play on Saturday. The D4, the running back. So, they may not play as effectively because the team around Flacco might not be as good as it once was. But I think this will continue. He's experienced. He's prepared, and he loves the offense. And they have faith in him to run the offense. Stefanski's play calling in terms of calling passes has increased dramatically over the last 2 weeks with him at quarterback than it did even when Watson was playing quarterback. So I think that trend continues. Look, I think the Chiefs have to acknowledge that they're a different team this year than they were last year. We're not going to see explosiveness out of Kansas City. They might score a lot of points against a bad defense, but when they get into playoff time, they're going to have to win in 3 levels. They're going to have to play good in the kicking game, continue to play great defense, and continue to manage the game offensively because there's just no explosiveness. Kelsey, I don't know if he's 100% healthy, but he's not the same player he was last year. He's down a full yard per catch this year. The offensive line isn't nearly as good as it was last year. And a lot of this is just situational, right? He came back from that knee injury. He still may not be healthy, and so you have to understand all that. And as we get older, the teams change. They need to ride Pacheco. They missed him last week. They really did. They need to ride that runner a little bit more. They need to manage the game the way they can. They can't fall behind. They got behind 14-0 to Kansas City. They can't, to Buffalo. They can't do that. They need to be able to let their defense play from in front, and so that they can take advantage of what they do defensively, which is create negative plays. So I think it's going to continue this trend. They can still win games. Look, I think this trend can win games. It's just not what we're used to seeing. They got a great quarterback who makes great plays. And if you don't keep him in the pocket like they didn't do last week, he'll make those loose plays.
How about another team, though? It seems like a wagon.
Yeah, Lombo, it seems like at this point in the season, every single year is when, like, kind of the media is like, hey, you know, the Cowboys, when's the other shoe going to drop? Like, they're going to choke. You know, they're typically kind of close to where they're at right now in terms of, you know, kind of making a run into the postseason. But this year just feels different. Obviously, the 49ers are kind of a wagon and look like the cream of the crop in the NFL and obviously the NFC. But are the Cowboys, like, is this a different team this year in terms of going into the playoffs? Like, do you think they have a legitimate shot of, you know, potentially beating the 49ers and making it to a Super Bowl?
Well, I think they've set up their team. You know, last offseason, Mike McCarthy made a decision to call plays. And he did it with the mindset of being able to complement his offense, his defense, and his kicking game. And everybody went crazy on Twitter. Everybody criticized because McCarthy was just going to run the ball. That wasn't the case. He's playing from in front, and he's playing to the strength of his defense, which is rushing the passer. They've played more plays offensively than almost a game and a half with their defense. Their defense is the liability of their team. It gets a lot of the recognition, but if they have to play toe-to-toe against a team, that may not work. Or if they play a good offensive team. Philly last week moved the ball on them. They just turned it over in their red zone. That game's a little misleading. Philly's got to protect the football better. I think this offense will continue to be good. And I think this week in Buffalo, playing on the turf with no weather, I think they'll still be good. They'll block Buffalo's front. I think the key question's got to be answered is if you think Dallas can win, they've got to play really good defense and rush Josh Allen and get him on the ground. And those are hard things to do. But I don't see this Cowboy team going away unless they go on grass. They're not the same team on grass that they are on turf.
Yeah, you're saying it's not the weather, it's the grass or the turf. And you said Buffalo has turf, but the weather might be, right? It's Buffalo, it's December. There's a chance that
supposed to be 48 and cloud. Well, it's always cloudy in Buffalo and Lake Erie at this time of the year. But I think it's true. I mean, I lived there for 10 years. I know it. I think they have enough power up front. See, here's the issue for Buffalo this week, right? The Buffalo's got to handle the power of Dallas's offensive line. They got to be able to stay toe to toe with them. You know, Philly beat them in the first game because Philly got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Dak had to move around quite a bit. I thought Dallas's offensive line played really well last week and blocked Philly. I know Riddick had 2 sacks, but they did a good job in that game. Buffalo's going to have to find a way to put pressure on them because they will attack this Buffalo secondary. They will attack the zone concepts.
Let's talk about the other team you just mentioned, Philadelphia Eagles. They're dead or what? You see how Seahawks on Monday night. Feels like a big one for them. Momentum, everything they have going on. People think they're dead. People are saying they're dead.
No,
literally.
I mean,
Lombo,
look,
sports talk shows are saying Eagles, Cowboys, or Eagles out. Cowboys, Niners, only conversation now. Even though the Eagles are still 10-3 or whatever the case is, are they dead, Lombo? Are they out?
I mean, they're 31st in forcing punts. They're the worst third down defense in football. They don't tackle well, right? And all these things show up. Why? Because they've been playing. They don't play from in front. Last year, they scored 206 points in the second quarter. They played from in front in every game. They had a 10-point lead at halftime all the time, and they couldn't utilize their defensive front. Last year, they had 70 sacks. 60 came from the defensive line. This year, they haven't been able to get that pressure nor play from in front, and it's forced them into a more of a drop-back pass game than a play-action pass game, and that's not what they want to do. They want to be a play-action pass team, run the ball, and their lack of being able to run the ball effectively has really hurt them. And their lack of run defense has really hurt them. And so to me, they're going to have to get back to what they did earlier in the year, which is they've got to control the game up front with their offensive line. I don't think their line's playing nearly as well as it did last year. It isn't there. I don't think any of them are. I think Hurts has been playing through some stuff. But for me, the formula for them winning is they have to start fast, play fast. If they get ahead of Seattle, they'll create problems. But they haven't been able to do that over the last few weeks.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because whenever you're in the lead, you know, the team has to respect the run a lot more because you're probably going to try to drain the clock. And on the defensive side, they're probably going to have to drop back and pass a little bit so you can go ahead and send the boys because they're playing catch-up while you're trying to keep the ball away. So the play action is obviously much more effective whenever the other team is expecting you to potentially have to run the ball or you run the ball. So it's a whole different mindset. Colts lived by it. here. The Indianapolis Colts lived by it for a very, very long time. If we got behind, obviously Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney weren't as effective because they couldn't just have their ears back and go get the quarterback. Now, let's turn this quickly to tonight's game and a couple picks that you love, Lombo. We've been enjoying this all season, riding the season of your bets, pal.
Well, tonight's going to be an interesting game. Like I thought last week, Antonio Pierce should have put Aiden O'Connell on the bench. He could have won the game if he put Garoppolo in there. And I think he needs – that's part of my problem with the NFL today is too many guys are looking at their play sheets and not watching the game. Like watch the game. Make decisions that win the game. First quarter, assess the game. Second and third quarter, adjust the game. Fourth quarter, standalone game, make decisions. Look, I think Stick and O'Connell will struggle. The last time they played him, he got sacked 6 times by Khalil Mack. They can't do that. No Colton Miller tonight. I think the Raiders will play better tonight. I think the Chargers have kind of long lost a little bit of their luster, and I don't think it's the same, especially knowing there's going to be changes at the end of the year. I think there's no question about that. I like Baltimore and Jacksonville this week. You know, I think that has a really good chance to be good. And for me, when you watch Baltimore play, they always rise to the level of play, and I think they'll do a good job with that one. And then I like the Bears too. I think they're getting Cleveland at the right time. Cleveland's hurt. I mentioned this earlier in the show. Cleveland's hurt, and they got a bunch of injuries all over the place. This is kind of be a hard game for Cleveland. Look, they do a good job against running quarterbacks. There's no question Cleveland does, Jim Schwartz. This will be a challenge because Chicago's playing. I've said this for the last 7 weeks. They're playing much better defensively.
Yep. Sweat signing was a big deal for them. Justin Fields is, I think, since week 4 had top 3 QBR in the entire league or whatever. Damn. And Lombo coming around. How about it, ZD baby?
Hey, bear it down. Welcome to the team, Lombo.
Bear it down is right. Lombo, we appreciate you, Paisano. Have a great day,
Thanks,
pal.
guys.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, Michael Lombardi.
Yeah, Lombo.
Learned a lot there, obviously.
He's so good.
Yeah, he doesn't like Italian people.
That's what I learned. Yeah.
Yep.
And then he said, "I'm not the only one. Look at the books."
No.
That's what he said. He said, "Look at the." He said another word.
He just likes good football more.
Yeah, we're not allowed to say gumbo. That's when
we can say gumbo. Yeah, we can certainly say that. Gumbo is very good down there in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Be careful, Mike.
That is very close. The other one, just there's a lot of those words for the Italian folks.
Yeah.
And maybe when I was younger, I would let them just fly whenever I was amongst my Italian friends.
That was before you knew, too.
Yeah, bingo. Then you find out what it means, and then you accidentally say it maybe in front of an Italian person that doesn't know that you have the Italian pass, and then they inform you of what you're saying, and then you're like, okay, well, I'm just not going to say those things anymore. But then there's Irish people like you that just let it fly all the time.
Well,
so, I mean, there's two different, Yeah, exactly.
I did that one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Minga, minga, minga. My dad, as a little kid, was running around the house. Minga, 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 minga. And boom, he got the backhand.
When I say this, I mean this. Grew up around all Italians, and we have to have the most Italian sports show in the history.
Oh, yeah.
Have to.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, can't even talk about who we talked to this morning.
No.
Yeah.
Might be the most Italian human of all time. That was one of the most absurd FaceTimes I've ever had.
They're all in the sanitation business.
Gene Sterator. We're asking him questions. We're firing things at him. Hey, Gene, why? Hey, Gene, why? Why you guys always? Like for our ref questions, Gene, friend of the program, obviously the voice of CBS, and we hope he'll be back in the NFL soon.
Yeah.
And not saying we want him off CBS, but like just have him drop into every It doesn't have to just be CBS games.
No.
We saw Walt Anderson drop into Monday Night Football. Just have Gene, just all of a sudden, guess who's the ref expert for primetime games? Gene Sterator.
Boom.
He's the guy. He is, but he is so Italian. I didn't know he was as Italian as he this morning. Maybe the most Italian human I've ever.
Yeah,
by far.
He's upper.
The coolest.
Yeah.
Coolest.
I mean, and so smart. He just knew how to talk to everybody. Yeah. Nothing ever rose to the level of what it's rising to now. Between whatever. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's the best. We'll be back in hour 2 with A.J. Hawk. Also, Attorney General of West Virginia. What?
Wow.
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice. We'll see you then.
In an abandoned warehouse, Arthur Isaac Fischel, the world's AI authority, has summoned the Earth's most influential doofuses for an emergency meeting about the terrifying powers of artificial intelligence. Antonio Margarita, influencer from Italy. Vladimir Borobashnakovsky. Chad Speed. Jim. We catch up with them mid-dinner as Artie Fish tries his damnedest to get the influencer's attention.
Yes, that'll work. Thank you. Scram. Let's get down to brass tacks, boys. The real reason we're here. AI is it's a problem. It's going to kill us all.
It's hard to take you serious with the way your face looks right now.
I mean, you look like a fucking asshole. What are you talking about?
Oh, the only thing artificial is those fucking balls you call balls.
You look absolutely absurd.
You guys don't understand. You're not listening to me, okay? I'm wearing this because AI can hear your thoughts. It can get into your brain, guys.
You ain't got no fucking brain.
Once again, struggling to take anything you say serious. My team told me I should come to this. You look like a joke.
Like an absolute jerk off.
Does this look like a joke? Huh? That's a nuclear bomb.
Nah, that's fake.
Just fucking like bad man puts marbles in plastic case.
You need a guma, my friend.
You guys aren't listening. This right here, AI gave to me a nuclear freaking bomb. Told me the only way to save this screwed up world is to blow it up. This guy awake? Idiot.
Wake up, asswipe.
He wouldn't hit somebody with a nuclear
No, yeah, fuck.
No, don't you worry. This one is foolproof.
I doubt it.
I brought it here, boys. Not just for show.
What?
But because I'm gonna blow up the world right now!
Holy shit! That's Jack Carr!
Turns out, that was an actual nuclear bomb. Arthur Isaac Fischel was going to blow the entire world up, and Jack Carr saved us all. It was his actual first shot. And Artie Fish is actually dead. Forever. Thank the Lord that Jack Carr sensed trouble. Hell yeah, Jack Carr.
The following program is a collection of stooges talking about happenings in the sports world. It is meant to be comedic informative. The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of their peers, their boss, or ESPN. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. If you are young, please seek permission before watching any further.
Hey, why? Let's go.
This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for. Ah! The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers,
You pig! Stop! Damn it!
Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life.
Sport!
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this week 15. December 14th, 2023. Hour 2 of the program starts now.
Football!
Regular season's only 18 weeks long.
Yeah, messed up.
We're kicking off week 15. Let's remember that as we watch the Chargers and Raiders battle tonight with backup quarterbacks that we haven't seen much of, but we're eagerly awaiting their potential opportunities to become the next guys in the NFL. Will Easton Stick propel himself into a potential trade starter for another team this offseason tonight on Prime as he leads the Chargers taking on the Raiders in Las Vegas, who are favored by 3. We'll chit-chat about all of that today, obviously, with the Talks at Table at Boston Connor and at Ty Schmidt. Ty, a lot of Iowa people, I think, getting introduced to our program here as of late. Love that I was represented on the program.
So do I. It's a great time of the year. We've had our fun, obviously, with the offense and Brian Ferentz and stuff like that. But, that's exactly. We're in basketball season right now, and a lot of people are saying, men's basketball. That's what it's all about. Iowa's men's basketball team, not great. I'll tell you what, I do not miss an Iowa women's basketball game. And they're on ESPN a bunch now, which is actually awesome. And I don't know, I was talking with Chuck this morning. We talked about how the Indiana Fever have the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft next year. I just got a sneaking suspicion that Caitlin Clark is not going to be going into the WNBA
No.
draft.
We don't need to put that in the universe.
And that she's going to go back to Iowa for another year.
No. We don't need to be putting that into the universe right now.
I mean, why wouldn't you though?
We're going to try to get this particular program out to one of those basketball games, but also hopefully be on the same weekend as Iowa wrestling.
That would be awesome.
From what I've heard is fantastic. We'll take a trip back to old Ty's hometown.
Mm-hmm.
We're also planning on taking a trip back to Boston this next offseason and a trip back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
One half of the Hammer, Dahn. Cowboys Tone Diggs is here. Our coach, the people's coach, who is 8-4-1
Oh, man.
on picks on Thursday Night Football, the legend, Chuck Pagano. Hey, don't hang your head.
I mean, 9-3 sounds much better, but
Well, yeah. You know what would sound great? 13-0.
I would.
Okay?
It would.
But
Who does it?
Count Chocula?
Yeah, Peter Pan.
What do you think this is?
maybe I'm a little pissed that he flip-flopped on the Patriots when the Patriots were the team that he
You weren't the only one that was pissed. What's your wife say to you the next morning?
Yeah, so I get home late, so I don't see her till the next morning, like Friday morning. Walk down the stairs. She's sitting there getting her coffee. What in the
right to your
I
face.
knew right the minute you started waffling and you flipped that we were
Yeah.
Legend.
Well, Tina, I want to let you know we all felt that way.
Yeah.
Because I was actually on the Steelers. And when he waffled to my side, I think I actually said no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Done.
you were going to go back.
Yeah, I was thinking about waffling after you were waffling. What
You
you
start talking about sticks and everything.
Oh, mama, I'm in fear for my life from the long arm of the law. So, like Ben Roethlisberger almost said, they shouldn't be allowed to play renegade this particular team.
He did.
Only when the defensive side of the ball is on the field. When the offense is on, if they have the ball, we don't want to hear it. If they haven't done anything, we don't need to waste this on this particular program. That's almost what Ben Roethlisberger was saying. And that is a reason why when we pit the Pittsburgh Steelers favored by that many, we should have known immediately that we were losing. I appreciate the fact that Miss Tina is as invested in your picks as the rest of us are. Tonight, you're going to get it right. Joining us right now is a guy who's been swinging a pretty hot bat right now.
Yeah.
Really?
In picking games. He's the current president of Ohio. He's a college football national champion, a Super Bowl champion, and the all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Yeah, Hawker.
AJ, you were on the right side last week to kick off Week 14, and we all knew as soon as Chuck started, whoa, wait a minute, we knew there was potential trouble ahead for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck, I think he knows he needs to trust his football instincts, everything that he's done in his life, and the resume that he has. I think just go with it, Chuck. Don't ever. What was the word you guys used?
Waffle.
Vacillating.
Vacillate. He was vacillating back and forth, right, between the two. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what his pick is tonight.
I thought for sure vacillating had something to do with like bopping or something in that particular
it's
round.
a golf ball. Don't they say for a golf ball the ball can vacillate but it can't roll or move?
Oscillate. That would be awesome.
Oscillate. Yeah. There you go.
What's up with these words lately?
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Webster's a real son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I mean? Like Webster really had him. All of them.
Yeah. Not to mention her brother.
What's that?
Adam Sandler stand-up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Hey, Sandman still has his fastball.
That was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, basically, Webster had a family member that just wanted to pick some words, wanted to spell some words.
Blackmailed.
Is the theory of Adam Sandler's joke. And he goes on a run for like 6 minutes about words and just how absurd they are. And it's like, Sandman's got it. And then as soon as he's done with that, he's like, okay. Yeah. And he puts on sunglasses and there's some rap beat playing behind him. He's like, yeah, I'm feeling this. Yeah, you guys feeling this? And it's like, yeah, Sandman. And then he goes into a 3-minute song that is the most absurd song of all time.
Pants.
With full like light show, video show behind. He's just standing by himself on a stage right now with this 20 by 40 foot screen behind him. Yep. And it's his sunglasses on, the lights go crazy, like incredibly musically talented. Yeah. So, and then he puts the thing down and right back in it. So my kids, doesn't even address the song he just did. Nope. Then he goes right into, so my kids the other day and does 7 to 10 minutes of stand up and then, okay, yeah. And puts another pair of sunglasses on. In it. Rockstar Sandman's here. Grabs his guitar, starts shredding.
Filthy.
Starts singing the most ridiculous song you've ever heard. He's like, you guys like this? Yeah, yeah. She keeps singing, puts it down, right into another stand-up.
All right.
And it was an hour and 30 minutes like that. And how do you
nonstop?
How else do you describe it as the most ridiculous hilarious show I've ever seen in my entire life.
Spot on, right there.
Entertainment.
Have to go.
Yes, have to go.
If it was a Wednesday night, he packed out that place.
Unbelievable.
He could sell out an arena every night if he wanted to, and if you went to a show, you'd be like, yep, going back the next time. Why? Because who knows what the hell that guy's going to do up
Yes.
there. But Webster is a dog. You know, and vacillating is something you can't be doing with your picks unless you're going to fade yourself. If you get to a point where you're so bad you start fading yourself, then you can vacillate a little bit, and then you're just flipping a coin basically for every pick. And once you get to that point, normally it's about this time of the year.
Yes.
How has the public done against the house this particular season in gambling tone, Diggs? Do you know that answer?
Yeah, it's kind of a bit of a roller coaster. The first 5 weeks were the best 5 weeks that have ever happened in the NFL. And then, the books got back, and the books got back pretty good. And then 2 weeks ago, the favorites started winning again. So the last 2 weeks have been good, and then this last weekend, not so good.
Okay, so it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. So we've been getting them a little bit. We talked to Michael Lombardi in the last hour. He had a lot of things to say. He basically said Tommy DeVito's story's cute, but fugazi.
He stinks. Yeah.
That's what I didn't say that. I'm just telling you what he basically said. What he didn't talk about is that there is a MVP chatter for somebody that isn't a quarterback this season, and his name's Tyreek Hill. And obviously we saw how valuable he was to the Miami Dolphins whenever he was not playing on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans, even though he would go back in and play at a later time. And I think he's back in there. Kyle Shanahan, head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, had a little bit of a take on this entire thing and went to bat for one of his players, a player that they traded for, and immediately upon becoming a San Francisco 49er, became the focal point of a team that would have ridiculous amounts of success immediately until they run to the NFC Championship game, and then right back into a ridiculously successful run. Here's Kyle Shanahan talking about CMC.
Ooh. Trying to get me in trouble with those two guys. That's the only reason I wouldn't overly comment on either one of them, because I don't want them to cancel each other out. But if any non-quarterback's going to get an MVP, I don't get how Christian McCaffrey can't. I mean, he's amazing in what he's done all year. If it's going to a quarterback, then I don't have to talk about Christian. I can talk about our quarterback, and I'm still, if his numbers is all you see, then I think that solves it up. But if you watch the film, then it makes it even stronger, which to me is the most important thing.
Love a head coach openly campaigning for his players, and obviously they have a very tight-knit group over there. Christian McCaffrey is a freak show, but I think he falls into the same conversation that Brock Purdy does. It's like so much talent over there. Yep. You kind of get lost in the sauce, but he's been the focal point since he got there, AJ.
Yeah, he's been doing everything for them. And when the guy can stay healthy, which he pretty much has during his time there, I feel like he's just such a weapon. But when you think about it, and I don't want to start talking about all the other talent, but that's all I'm thinking of. Look at Debo blocking on the edge, Kittle, obviously Trent, everyone downfield, Ayuk. Like, they do have so much talent. They're just such a good team right now. So if they can find a way to stay healthy, yeah, I mean, does he actually have a legit chance? What kind of run does CMC have to go on to actually really have a chance to be the MVP?
He has no shot because of all the people we just talked about right there. And look at the team. I mean, the buy-in to the run is also awesome, and that'll even be held against Christian. Well, he's got a tight end who's the greatest blocking tight end of all time there. They got every wide receiver, even their superstar wide receivers are willing to block downfield. You almost become a victim of good culture. And it's like it's a wild chatter piece. It's a wild conversation. But whenever you think about Christian McCaffrey, Coach Pagano, why is he different than everybody else? Is it because it's the perfect situation for a freak athlete, and that's why maybe he doesn't get as much chatter about potential MVP conversation?
No, it's when you go into a game and you say you put the game records up. He's first and foremost. Every coach says, okay, they put him up. This is where it starts. Even though they have Debo.
Hold on. To your point there, Michael Lombardi said last Tuesday, he said, if we have to prepare for you on Tuesday, you're an MVP candidate is what he's talking about.
Absolutely.
Which is Christian McCaffrey. Go ahead.
Exactly right. He's 100%. Because even though the quarterback's playing like he's playing, damn good player, Kittle, Ayuk, Debo.
Right.
Yeah, this guy, because he out of the backfield, jet sweeps, split him out, play him as a slot, play him out wide by himself, put a linebacker. You can't. He's a mismatch. So who are you going to put on him? You're going to can't stop him when they're just running the ball, hand it to him, and then you put him out in space, linebacker, safety. You got to double him. You got to double him on third down. Like if it's 3rd and 2 to 6, you have to start with him and double. And all you other guys, hey, good luck.
It's figuring it out for a defensive coordinator against that Niners team has to be a never-ending cause of anxiety.
Yeah,
go ahead, comment.
For sure. But if that's the card we want to play, that they're too good and they got too many good players, and that is why it's working, then Shanahan should win Coach of the Year and John Lynch should win Executive of the Year because they're the ones that are doing it. Then, right?
Well, Shanahan won't win Coach of the Year because everybody's so good.
Yeah,
everybody on your team's so good.
And then the defense they built. To your point,
yeah, it's filthy.
Lynch.
Unbelievable.
He's doing it. And he is willing to say, I made a mistake.
Yeah, which is huge.
And move on, which Bill Belichick has been able to do throughout his time as a GM. Huge. Obviously, he's made more of those towards the end of this entire run, potentially.
Andy, too.
Andy Reid, same exact thing. They're willing to make mistakes and admit their mistakes and say it's not working out. But it is fascinating that, like, Brock Purdy, because of how talented the team is, and because he was the last pick of the draft, will probably never get his flowers.
No.
Probably never. And then like Christian McCaffrey, it's like, must be nice, to be Christian McCaffrey when they have to prepare for everybody else and they can't load the box, so you're able to run against a light box. And then you have Trent Williams, who's the best offensive lineman in the entire NFL. It's like, that sucks for you, but they don't care about any of that.
No.
They want to win a Super Bowl.
Correct. Yeah.
That's all they want to win about. And that's sometimes, I think we forget about that while we're talking about it, is like, yeah, he does deserve the MVP. It's like, does CMC give a single damn about that MVP?
No.
Or is he looking for a Super Bowl so that, he can peacock into the house that has so many professional athletes and Olympians on Thanksgiving in that McCaffrey family? It's like, I think that's what the only thing he cares about. But it would be nice to get a little maybe extra bonus for being the most valuable player.
Yeah, the accolades, obviously, and especially like a guy like Purdy who's making like $840,000 if he were to win the MVP. I'm sure, like that's something. But he doesn't.
Endorsements.
Exactly, but he doesn't seem like the guy. Like after the way they lost in the NFC Championship last year, I don't think any of them give a shit about that. It's
way to go.
We want to go win a Super Bowl. Period.
You were about.
I was very close.
I saw the mouth. The mouth.
Thought about it. Almost said it earlier as well. I don't know what's going on today, but
a pretty relaxed day around.
Yeah, it is. It is. But no, I think the way they lost that game and kind of just like the way this rivalry with the Eagles has almost turned in almost like a college rivalry. Like they are so one-track minded on going and winning a Super Bowl that all that kind of stuff is just window dressing and just, stuff that like, yeah, it'll be nice and it's going to happen. They're going to have a bunch of first-team All-Pros and Pro Bowlers, but I don't think any of them give a shit about that.
I don't think so either. That NFC Championship game, the way it all unfolded, and then the conversation and chatter afterwards, I feel like in professional football, you don't get a lot of that. But their core is back.
Yeah.
From that game.
For a while.
It's like a college feel almost. Like when you lose a rivalry game and it's led by, like, let's say the sophomore class of the team, and you lose, it's like coming back junior year, there's a whole different mindset. Callous now a little bit, still maybe even a little edgier, even a little bit.
Definitely more edge. Yeah, definitely more edge. The rivalry, everything about it's awesome, but also, don't you think, at least from the front office, they realize, hey, we need to capitalize why Brock Purdy is on this rookie deal as well, because we're going to have to pay him a ton of money very soon.
We've talked about that for the last few years, about the weapon that is the rookie contract. We're not the only people. I'm saying we created the conversation, but it is a real conversation.
Yes.
When you could spend money on all those weapons. Like I think Kittle's paid.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trent's paid.
Yep.
Debo's paid. Juszczyk's paid.
Yeah, sorry, Ayuk.
Ayuk's paid.
I think he's the only one that
coming
is.
up.
Yeah, he's coming up.
He's the only one
I thought
that
he was
isn't
paid. I thought they paid everybody. And then on defensive side, linebacker paid, corner paid, D lineman, both D linemen paid. I mean, they've paid everybody, and you can do that whenever you're paying a starting quarterback $867,000.
So what? This is year 2, right?
Versus $40 million. Quarterbacks are taking $30 million of the salary cap, getting $40 million prorated over invisible years at the end. There's salary cap gymnastics happening. But people are accounting for like $25 million, $30 million, these top-end quarterbacks, these MVP-type quarterbacks. Yeah. He's accounting for $867,000.
I'm guessing Christmas is going to be pretty good for Brock, though.
From?
Just some extra cheese maybe in a stocking.
The Niners organization.
They should.
Somebody just shows up at his car. Hey, just want to take this envelope.
God, wouldn't you?
It'd be hard not. Yes, I actually would. It's kind of my default in this entire
We're passing the hat for Brock, guys. Anybody in?
Hey, we all understand what's going on here. The guy's making nothing.
Let's help him out.
Yeah, so because of that, we can all make so much more. It's illegal. I think the NFL would be very pissed off about it.
Get him a car.
AJ, we haven't got a chance to hear your take on this before we're joined by the Attorney General of West Virginia here in about 3 moments. Ben Roethlisberger was speaking on his podcast, footballing, with Ben Roethlisberger. He and Spence go to Ben Roethlisberger's basement, which is so nice.
Sweet.
And they sit at the bar and they chit-chat about Pittsburgh Steeler football. And Ben Roethlisberger has basically become just like a standard, stereotypical Yinzer dad. That is pretty much what he is. Watching the Steelers, living with the Steelers, dying with the Steelers seemingly. And it's a beautiful thing because everything he says is heard by everybody in Pittsburgh because how much Pittsburgh loves him. Here's one of the clips, and this is taken out of context completely from a much longer answer. But this statement was made, and I would like to hear your reaction to it, AJ.
Maybe the tradition of the Pittsburgh Steelers is done. Maybe it needs to be formed a new kind of way. I don't
What
know.
does that mean, AJ? As a guy who played for the Cincinnati Bengals for that game that we all remember in the playoffs, and somebody that grew up in Ohio, so you obviously in AFC North understand what the Pittsburgh Steelers are and what that means. When you hear somebody like Ben Roethlisberger say that, what does that mean, you think? What does that say?
I mean, since Ben is not there day in and day out, I'm sure he's saying, like, yeah, that's why he says maybe we need this. I mean, I don't know if is it like the old man get off my lawn? Like we all are guilty of that at times. I feel like we say, our practices, they'd be arrested if coaches practice like we used to. Is it one of those things? Or is it Ben is seeing like, yeah, there's just no real direction offensively, I guess.
I think Ben's thinking as like a fan while he's watching the team, like this ain't how the Pittsburgh Steelers operate. You know, not like, we did 3-a-days whenever I got into the NFL, or you're allowed to wear pads.
They cared, though. I think what I took from it, I took that Ben, like, do they care like we cared to where they will give any, like, yeah, we're going to mess around, do whatever, have fun off the field. But when we're in that facility, like it's no joke. Here we go. We are here to work. That's what I took from it.
And Ben was asking if they care that they're Steelers too. Like that group like cared that they were Steelers. You know what I mean? That was passed down. Like when you're a Steeler, there's a way you go about doing things. And it feels like Ben is saying he's witnessing something that isn't that. That's what I took away from it. Tone Diggs, obviously a diehard Steeler fan, has had numerous reactions. He's saying wholesale changes is needed. Whoa. And Ben empowered you all, I think, right, with what he said on football.
Ben and all the other players that have been there. And I think AJ was right about the last part that he said about the trying and caring and stuff like that. And he knows, like, Packers is a very similar organization, like where like there's a lot of pride in like being a Packer, and there's supposed to be a lot of pride in being a Steeler, but it doesn't feel like that's the thing. Right?
And that's what Ben's saying. And Ben, because Chuck said the same thing you said. Chuck, I was like, hey, if you're Mike Tomlin, how are you handling this? And Chuck's like, well, Ben's not in the building. So, like, Ben is, like, you could hear Chuck almost get, like, annoyed. Like, hey, Ben, it's already going bad. You know how this goes. We don't need more shit being tossed at us. But I think Ben is trying to say, like, hey, this needs to be changed. Like, I think he's speaking from a place of, like, I would like this to be changed, and he knows his voice matters.
How about call, before you do that, hey, Coach, can I come down? Can I talk to the guys? Or even 2 months ago, before it ever got to this point? How many times has he gone and tried to inspire?
You think it's just that easy?
He's
just
got kids.
You know what? Hey,
You think
what I'm doing today? I'm calling Mike Dahn. I want to go talk to the
that might be
Steelers.
tough.
You think that's real life?
You think they're going to listen to him?
Let me
with
rephrase
Canada
that.
too?
Maybe Mike has reached out to him. Hey,
Okay, got it. Maybe Mike hasn't reached out to him. That's why he's pissed.
Could be.
I don't know that. That doesn't sound like Mike to me. Okay,
I agree.
I agree. Mike, he went in there with Canada.
Because he's all into the alumni. Those guys coming back. Are you kidding me?
That's right. You're right. You're right. That's the
So you
Steelers.
got something to say? Hey, look, just like we don't air our dirty laundry in the media, right? So if you got something to say, come down here and I'll let you address these fellas face to face.
These fugazi Steelers.
They're not going to listen.
Well, and if he does that, then like isn't he is the old guy on his front lawn? Just
let me tell you how to fix it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't come in there and be like, hey, let me tell you what you guys are all doing wrong. I've been watching on TV, and you guys need to start doing this.
I turned up the volume as loud as I could too. I didn't hear one single good job. Did you?
None.
I didn't hear.
You weren't on the sideline calling
I
ball.
didn't hear it. And they did a sky cam shot, and not everybody's going to look at this, but I did. I was seeing how the side. What you guys were doing on the sideline is not how Steelers operate. Okay, we're supportive. We're up there. Could you imagine the room? Listen to this guy. And if it's already lost, too, by the way, that's not going to help.
The approach and what you say, he could endear himself and say, we got talent.
No, have you ever heard Ben do interviews? That is not how it goes.
He doesn't go that road.
Okay, so it's one of those guys that
he's brutally honest. Like he is a brutally honest guy. I don't think he has any ill intentions ever whenever he's speaking, but he just is a brutally honest speaker, I think.
He's an Ohio guy.
Yeah, he just
bingo.
He would go on these local radio shows, obviously, and he's quarterback. And they'd be like, what happened in this situation? He would give the honest answer. But in doing so, he'd be like, receiver ran a little bit, should have been a little bit out. And then all of a sudden, it's like, this guy just throws guys under the bus. And it was like he wasn't meaning to do that. He was just telling a brutally honest answer. We appreciate footballing. We appreciate what you did for Pittsburgh, Ben.
Love you, Ben.
Joining us now is a man who has done a lot for the state of West Virginia. He is the 34th Attorney General of the great state of West Virginia. If you recall, West Virginia decided to leave Virginia back in the day when there was a certain battle going on. And it is a glorious and a beautiful state that had a basketball player going through a situation with the NCAA due to the amount of transfers and the reasoning and a waiver. So this Attorney General, led by an Ohio coalition, decided to sue the NCAA. Now there's a temporary restraining order on the injunction from the NCAA to these players who are not allowed to play for 2 weeks. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I have no idea if what I just said accurately described what's going on.
Sounded right.
To clarify it all, ladies and gentlemen, Attorney General of West Virginia, Patrick Morrissey.
Hey, Pat, it's good to be with you today, and it's a great day to be a Mountaineer.
Hey, you're damn right, no matter where you are, or no matter where you may be. You look sweet. Are those real books behind you? I assume they are, your Attorney General.
They're actually real books. It's a library. We even try to use these books from time to time, and perhaps they helped a little bit yesterday.
Okay, so let's talk about yesterday. Shout out to those books, bud. Hey, shout out to those books.
Keep going, books.
Okay, so let's talk about yesterday. I just tried to describe the situation. Obviously, everybody, seemingly with a brain and common sense, is fed up with the NCAA sticking their nose into a situation with archaic rules in the modern era that we're in. Raekwon Battle, basketball player for West Virginia, is not allowed to play this year, or was deemed not allowed to play because he had too many transfers without a waiver, and it wasn't found out till he got to West Virginia that was the case, so he's kind of in a bad spot. So you all sue the NCAA, basically saying you're not allowed to do that because of potential wages being earned with the new NIL situation. Am I describing that right? Where are we? Yeah. And why did you guys decide to do what you did? And what does this mean for the future, not just the next 2 weeks?
Absolutely. So first of all, thank you for having me on, because this is an important issue for the future of college athletics. I think a lot of us have been very worried about having this unaccountable organization issue these dictates from on high and really not putting the student athletes first. So that's one of the reasons why up front, I wrote a letter to the NCAA originally asking for Raekwon Battle to be allowed to play this year. That was the first thing that we did. And then we got a letter, from the NCAA saying, sorry, but we're not going to approve it. We followed up with another letter. Raekwon and his attorneys followed up and sent letters. But at the end of the day, Raekwon was denied. And interestingly, the more we started to look at that fact pattern, we saw that some people were approved, some people were denied. And then we start to say, look, the NCAA is operating on top of a house of cards, and that they think they're unaccountable, but they too have to comply with the antitrust laws of our country, the competition laws that governs how businesses behave, how individuals can transit and move on to receive the type of employment or athletic opportunities of their choice. And what we saw here is that the NCAA, we thought, was violating the antitrust laws. So I started talking with the Ohio Attorney General, Dave Yost, did a really good job organizing a coalition of 7 states. We went into court in the Northern District of West Virginia yesterday. The judge indicated that he was going to put a halt to the NCAA transfer rule for the 2-time transfers at a minimum for 14 days. So from my perspective, that means that all of the athletes that have been denied for this time, there is a clear pathway to allow them to play and to allow them play without penalty. That's the other issue, Pat, that we were very worried about, that you could have a victory in court, but the NCAA could come back and say, yeah, you might have won in court, but it got reversed. Now we're going to strip away the wins for your school. We're going to stop the individual record keeping, all the awards that you may want to get. I think the court has weighed in pretty clearly that the NCAA doesn't have that power, and now we move forward in the court. But student athletes, for the first time in a long time, have been put first by this big multi-state coalition.
Hey, thank you for doing that. We obviously appreciate that as former athletes and people that have questioned a lot of what the NCAA has done for a very long time. What's the goal of this? Obviously, 14 days from the judge in West Virginia. The goal is just that this transfer rule gets kind of eliminated. And how would that go about? The NCAA would have to represent themselves in court, and a judge would say, you have to eliminate this rule? Or what are we looking at here, especially with a law world that takes forever to do anything? Right? Isn't that
absolutely?
Yeah.
So the good news is that the court has already issued a temporary restraining order.
Yep.
So they're basically trying to immunize these athletes for a minimum of a 14-day period. But then we're back in court on December 27th, the end of the year, and then we're going to be asking for a permanent injunction. The value of that is to send this transfer eligibility rule into the scrap heap. And then obviously the NCAA is going to have to come up with rules that are not so onerous on the student athletes. I think one of the problems the NCAA has run into is they've lost their way. They're not focusing on the student athlete. I've always made the example of, why does a student athlete have to wait for a year? When you're a coach, you could leave midway through. You could be in a band. You could transfer schools, and you're not going to have to wait a year. Yeah. It's an absurd rule. It never was sustained under the antitrust rules. It's not logical. And the NCAA has been interpreting it every which way but reasonably over the past number of years. We want to put that to bed right now. Yeah. We're in the middle of the college sports season, winter sports. People want to go out on a hardwood. They want to play ball. Let the kids play. That's what we want. And then there'll obviously be an opportunity for the NCAA working with the states to come up with a better system.
Let the kids play.
Let the boys play. And girls
let them play, man.
Yeah, let the kids play.
Let the kids
play. It's all about the student human athletes, and I don't think it's sit out a year anymore. I think they changed that, but if you transfer more than one time without a waiver, then you're stuck at a place forever. I mean, it's just like the rules are stupid. They all seem to be hypocritical, and I appreciate the fact that you say that they're not focusing, they've lost their way, they're not focusing on the student human athletes, which used to be their entire mission. Now it's like they're focusing on showcasing that they still have power, and it's like, hey, don't need that from you. What we need is you to kind of take care of the entire situation while we're in the middle of this wild transition in the NIL era. Let's put some guardrails on this thing as opposed to utilizing rules that were built before this started to ruin people's lives. None of it makes sense. That whole earned wages and future wages thing brings in a whole nother angle, right? Doesn't that kind of bring in a whole nother angle against the NCAA?
No, it does, because at the essence, the antitrust laws, you're engaging in restrictive trade. You're actually limiting economic opportunities for people, and athletes are citizens too. And look, Pat, you know this. The fact is that any athlete could have a perfect moment in time. It could be throwing the right pass. It could be shooting, defending the right play. And you don't know when it's going to come. And to actually say artificially, for no logical reason, you're going to bar someone from playing for a year, that's not right. That's what the court said in the order that came out yesterday. So I think the clear intent of this district court is to go forward, and we're very hopeful. We're going to humbly go back to the court and ask to extend this TRO to make it more permanent. But I think it's a good day if you're a student athlete, because now we get to bring more accountability to the NCAA.
Hell yeah, we've been looking for this for a long time. Do I just call you AG, or what do the boys call you back here?
You could call me the AG. You could call me anything you want, but just call us winners in the court. And we gotta keep
I love that, AG. You're a dog, bro. Raekwon Battle in his first game or second game could go for 40 points and become a household name overnight. And then all of a sudden, well, he wouldn't have had that opportunity. But nowadays, maybe he gets some sponsorship out of that. Maybe he gets to earn a living. Maybe he gets to change his family's trajectory forever because of that evening. And the NCAA says, that's
right.
My point.
And look, here's the really important part. Anyone want to see a really good kid? He testified for 40 minutes yesterday in court, and I think he was one of the stars of the show, but he talked about his compelling story. Here's a guy that grew up, he was on a reservation, his coach left, and he decided to go to WVU. You know, you guys know Josh Eiler had spent time on a reservation as well. So there was a comfort level. This is the right place for this kid who's trying to address some of his mental health needs. That's the exact type of example you would think the NCAA would say, let's have basic rules of fairness, let the kid play. But they didn't. And now you're seing what happens when entities who are unaccountable think they can get away with this.
I love that. Did the NCAA have a representative there saying, no, after his 45 minutes, they say, I'll take the stand for myself, actually. I'll be like Vin Diesel in the Find Me Guilty movie or whatever, where he represents.
Well, look, one of the interesting things about the hearing is that they were talking about, are you going to play this year? Because ultimately the decisions should be up to the student athlete as to what's going to happen. A lot of questions are coming up about eligibility and would you forfeit it. At the end of the day, it's a decision that the school has to make, but also the kid has to make it as well. But the line of questioning was literally focused on, NIL, and do you really have to go play this year? You've missed 10 games. You only have 18 games left. Look, it should be up to the kid.
That's the NCAA, though. The NCAA is there saying, we don't want this kid. They sent somebody to court in West Virginia to be like, hey, make sure this dude isn't able to play. And that lawyer's like, you got it. I'm going in there. That's what the NCAA did in this court case. Like, what was the other side? Was it just a judge ruling this kind of thing?
Obviously, it's a case that everyone at counsel, and I'm not going to disparage anyone at counsel, but what I will say is that when the focus is always on, they're not looking for the best interest of the kid. They're not trying to get to the heart of the story about how this kid was affected. He's got a really compelling story if you look into it. He's got a posting on Twitter, if you go look at that, which really, if anyone across the country watches it, they're going to become a fan of this kid. I just would hope that the NCAA would be trying to get to the bottom of it. Why did this kid transfer? What's going on? What makes him tick? How can we put his interest ahead? That didn't come across yesterday in the hearing when the NCAA was asking the questions, and I think it needs to come across in the future for the NCAA to get it right. Otherwise, look, there should be a lot of scrutiny of a monopoly-type organization. They don't have exemptions from the antitrust rules, and that's what state attorneys general and others are all about. No one is above the law.
Man, I love that. Hey, Patrick, hell yeah, dude.
We're going.
Go ahead, AJ. Sorry I took that. I was very intrigued by this entire thing. Just the thought optically of the NCAA sending in two lawyers after a 45-minute testimony of a student human athlete telling bearing his soul pretty much about what sports mean to him, what the head coach of this team, and the NCAA going, to rest our case, Judge, this kid doesn't deserve to play. Like, you look like the biggest group of assholes on earth, and it's like, why is that what the NCAA is? Why is that? It just doesn't make any sense. But go ahead, AJ. Sorry about that.
Do we know?
No, listen, I think that this was step one. There are multiple steps. This is one round of a multi-round process. So I think the judge did a good job. We're not presuming anything. We have 14 days. We think we're correct on the law. We're very pleased the court is considering all of our arguments, but we're going to have to go back. We have December 27th, and we're going to keep going. And I think we're correct on the law, and we're going to keep humbly going to the court and asking them to do the right thing.
Hell yeah. Humbly, of course. Go ahead, AJ.
How many people are making these decisions in the NCAA? Is there a group? Is there a board? Like, do we know who is ultimately pulling the trigger and making these decisions that are affecting all of these people's lives?
Yeah, I mean, they have a designated committee of people that review these, and it's my understanding it came out yesterday. There are probably about 100 student athletes nationally that are impacted by all this. And obviously, this is just one touchstone, by the way, of, I think, a lot of concerns with the NCAA. And note that they have this for the Division I athletes, but you don't have the same rules in place for everyone. But you have a limited group of people, and I'm still hopeful, look, that the NCAA will come to its senses and do the right thing. Let the kids play.
Yeah.
Even now, I want to note that even today, there's some people questioning, will there be potential punishment if they go out and play? Would they potentially lose another year of eligibility if this issue gets reversed? And guys, as you know, this is one step in a multi-step system. We don't know what will happen. While we think we're correct on the law, what happens if something changes? I don't think the athletes should be punished. That's why it was particularly important for the court to say that old restitution law, think of it as the NCAA penalty box provision, that was not going to apply here. We have to make sure that stays in place.
Just the NCAA petitioning against a kid in court while he's bearing his soul. Yeah, you look soulless.
Yes.
But then to follow it up with, we dare you. Those are rules right now. Go ahead. We'll see what happens December 27th. Okay, so is this all worth it or not? It's just like, you look like that's not what you should be. We all agree with that. We also all agree that we appreciate the hell out of you, AG. Good luck December 27th, and kind of thank you for spearheading this movement alongside whoever it was in Ohio over there.
Dave Yost of Ohio did a great job, and it was a bipartisan coalition, 7 states. I appreciate all of my colleagues. We all worked together on this, but shout out to Dave Yost of Ohio, did a great job.
Bipartisan. How many more we think are going to get involved once they hear about this? Probably everybody, right?
Look, I mean, there may be more that come in. Look, how often do you see the states of New York, Ohio, West Virginia, Colorado, North Carolina, Tennessee all come together under one umbrella and take on a common foe? I think that's a reflection of the fact that this is an issue that has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with fairness for the kids and letting people play and earn resources as they can too.
Can we get a good pop, a good babyface pop from this? What's going on? They're screwing kids. Yeah, we're in.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we're in. Hey, what's your political party? Who cares? What can we take a stand on right now? We're helping people that might not come from much make money that they would have never been able to see before, but a group is holding them back from that. Everybody hates this group, pretty much. Okay, yeah, I'm in. I'm in. That's going to be
And look, Pat, imagine you have a kid that was on a reservation, right? And so how many people, Native Americans, are actually playing in the NCAA right now? How many are playing in pro sports? So you have this kid, the NCAA talks about diversity, what they're trying to do, and then this waiver gets denied. I think it's a bad look. I think they made the wrong decision. We wrote them multiple times suggesting that, but they went ahead. Now we're in court, and we're going to let our briefs do the talking. But I like our position where we are. I think we're on the side of the Angels, and we're going to keep going.
Hey, let's keep reading those books behind us. Let's go ahead and let's win this thing on the 27th. Let's put this one to bed. You said there's going to be multiple rounds. How about a second-round knockout?
Boom.
In December 27th, that'd be great. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrissey. Thank you. I think you did good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
On this particular program. I had no idea how that was going to go.
Yeah, good to learn about like the intricacies of that whole entire situation.
His press secretary, Paisano.
Sure.
Nice.
Got an email, got a chance to, yeah.
DeVito?
No, it ended with Nato, I believe. It was
Mangazano or something like that.
No, you guys are doing a lot.
Donato.
You guys are about to start. No, it's not Fazoli either. Listen, you guys are about to start doing some things.
That was his name.
No, you guys are starting to do some stuff. You're doing some things. You are.
Just asking.
You did.
Just curious.
You did. But yeah, it was really, because I've been following from afar, but I don't understand this particular one as well. Raekwon Battle. He's new to West Virginia. Josh Eilert was assistant coach for West Virginia. He becomes head coach after Bob Huggins. And West Virginia no longer.
Right.
What a wild scene that was.
Did he make it back yet? I know he was petitioning to get that gig back. Did he get his job back?
No, I don't know. Just from outside looking in, that was a wild scene. I think we all agree on that. Josh Eilert, anyways, is now the acting head coach of the West Virginia basketball team. Has a lot of respect for Bob Huggins, though. I do believe he comes from the same tree. So I think that has been a kind of added wrinkle into the whole conversation. But like the recruiting story of him and Raekwon, because Josh grew up, I believe, in a similar background. So it's like the story that had to be told to this judge had to be so like compelling, I assume emotional, inspiring. And it's all just to let a dude who's of college age, who has eligibility left on his clock, to just play basketball for a team in which he was given an opportunity to play basketball for. In the NCAA, sits there and no.
Not a chance.
Objection. Too emotional. Can't. Huh? No tears. We don't need tears, right? What is this human doing over here? This is not human, okay? This is a thing, and it falls into an illegal category. The rules we made. So just like how we used to use the word amateurism, which kind of got killed. We had to, you know what I mean? The amateurism word used to be their answer for everything. You remember that? AJ, they just made this word up. And then it became the answer.
I think it was a campaign. I think it was honestly like one of those campaigns that they put out that they probably paid some focus group or some company to come in. Like, hey, let's just keep jamming this into amateurism. Like, let's get that out there in the zeitgeist, as they say.
Amateurism. Hey, so excuse me, how come Pat White can't go sign autographs and make money? Well, amateurism. Amateurism.
Oh.
What is
Just like Olympic wrestlers, they'll say. That's what they try to say.
Amateurism. Well, how come that pianist that's on scholarship here for the choir or whatever can go work all holiday season with all these other and get paid for it all? Amateurism. Well, what about the band? Like that drummer right there in the band could go play gigs and make money. Like, amateurism for sports. Okay, well, you're making no sense. Okay, everything you're doing is stupid. But then they got killed by the NIL stuff. And that was the states basically kill them. So amateurism, no longer a word in our lexicon. Now it's like the only power they feel like they probably have left is just transfer rules, our waivers, not yours. We have to agree to it, not you. It's like, shut up. And I'm happy. I did not expect that to be what Patrick Morrissey looked like.
Yes.
He looked awesome.
What do you mean? What did you expect him to look like?
Yeah.
I mean, that hair.
Yeah.
So sweet.
Probably not 100%.
Eyebrows were perfectly shaved.
I don't think
What do you
so.
think?
You know, Patrick Morrissey with the way he looked. He is an Irish lad.
Yeah.
He is
for sure.
I like the
nuclear weapon.
How about him saying at the end they're bipartisan?
Yeah.
Everybody can rally around.
States?
We're attacking an organization that
Common
everybody
sense.
hates.
Yeah.
Yes.
Common sense.
What's the reason for the rule? Chuck, what's the reason for the NCAA rule to be? So they just don't want people transferring willy-nilly? Is that all? That's why it's there?
That's how it used to be. It used to be if you were going to transfer like D1 to D1, you had to sit out a year.
Right?
And I guess they wanted to, make it, obviously very
So you get one free transfer now. Is that right? You get one free transfer?
You get one.
And I think I learned from that conversation, your second one, you got to sit out a year.
Yeah.
I think that's what I just learned.
Number two, you sit. And that's what they're trying to get rid. And now this goes back to the Sherman Antitrust Act is what was in that article we read this morning. Because now with NIL, these guys are making money. And basically what you're saying is you're not letting this guy on the court, you're not letting him take advantage of his NIL. You're going to hold him back and not let him play. Then you're taking money out of his pocket, taking food off his table, his ability to earn. That's the Sherman Antitrust Act.
And
so
that's why
that's huge. That's huge.
That is a massive part because then that brings in working laws. Like what are the workers' rights? Because now you're a worker pretty much. And it's like employer earnings.
But players can't fight because players they didn't collectively bargain to have a union or whatever to fight that. So then Mr. A.G. Morrissey is fighting for the players. I guess that's what we're going to count.
We're headed, right? So the NCAA, that stranglehold that they've had, this is like their last little thing that they're holding on to.
Oh.
The transfer rules. We're still in there, right?
And they go to a judge and fight for it. That is in my head, I'm watching this dude spill his soul and cry. And then the NCAA, just with their suits over there, whispering questions to ask. I bet he doesn't have an answer for this. And then standing up and being like, Judge, Your Honor, this kid's lying. This kid is. You see those tears? Those are fake tears. This is not. It's like, think about that entire. And then them saying they're scared that the NCAA is going to go back and punish them for anything they do during this 14-day period that a judge put in there. The NCAA sent an email like, think about it.
That cannot happen. There's no way they let that happen. What if you just all of a sudden play? What if they say he can't play and he goes out there and plays? What can they do?
So they can vacate your wins, and then whenever March Madness comes around, the championship.
They actually run that. Like in basketball, they run March Madness.
So there's a lot. Like
they don't run the college football playoff. So that's why in football I was always like, well, what can they do? But they actually do run the tournament. So
I'm damn near at the point with the NCAA where I think they're doing this on purpose just to get more eyes on West Virginia basketball, so that West Virginia basketball makes more money for the NCAA, and they're just completely spinning this entire thing as if it's
C-word.
Seriously. I'm just saying.
You think they're trying to make?
That's where I'm at.
You think they're trying to babyface West Virginia basketball right now? I love that.
No, babyface. It's strictly money. Strictly, hey, West Virginia basketball will make more money for the NCAA if we put a spotlight on them. This is a terrible decision. There's no sane person that could look at this unbiasedly and be like, yeah, they have a real argument. And that's why I'm just at the point where it has to be strictly a money thing, and maybe they can reverse this somehow.
That takes me to a conspiracy I saw cooking on the internet about the NFL not really worrying about the refs because that's just the conversation. It's like the NFL is always going to be popular. So what's the conversation the day after games? Is it injuries? Is it anything like that? Is it fights? No. What is it? Oh, it's the refs. Okay, well, Just keep yelling about the refs. They're humans, and we'll just keep it moving.
Exactly.
But I don't believe that's true. I think the NFL wants to get it right. I think the NFL attempts to get it right, but I also think the NFL gets in their own way a lot. Troy Vincent was speaking to the media from the league meetings in decisions that were made on rules that were kind of maybe put in this past year or what the future could look like with the rules and officiating and everything. And I have some news that is, kind of polarizing to my heart.
Oh.
Okay? Because I appreciate the fact that the fair catch on the kickoff is probably going to go away after this year. That's what Troy Vincent said to the public. He said, amongst his answer, he said that it's a dead ceremonial play today and will be addressed. And also the one-year experiment encouraging fair catches will be modified, if not going away entirely. Okay, so hopefully we will no longer see fair catches in the NFL. In college, okay. Maybe you don't have a special teams coach. Maybe you don't have players that play special teams. So if you just want to opt out of a play and fair catch it, cool. But in the NFL, people are paid a lot of money to strategize on these particular plays. There's a special teams coordinator. There's roster spots that are in there. There's millions of dollars earned amongst a group of people that are continuing to play football and do a job for a team that nobody else, the stars, definitely don't want to do. Special teams matter, and it feels like a lot of these conversations rally around the fact that they don't or won't in the future. Now, our sources have told us that maybe the NFL thought that the return percentage this year was way too low. I think it was the lowest it's been, right? What is the percentage?
20.5%.
20.5% of kickoffs have been returned this year. So, and he says ceremonial.
Historically low.
The lowest it's been by a wide margin.
Damn.
So they're looking for changes to the kickoff because it can't go back to what it was where a bunch of injuries were taking place, but also can't be too low. We need at least the thought of an exciting play. So they're talking basically on both sides of the fence here. Okay, we'd like to eliminate the kickoff, which is why we put the fair catch thing in there, but eliminate maybe too much. Now, so if anybody has any ideas that there's still a thought or a potential spark from a return, we would like to hear it, and we hope the coaches present those to us this offseason. So the kickoff remains a topic of conversation. It feels like the future of the kickoff is certainly in jeopardy, but there's no way they're going to completely remove it from the game. I'm excited to hear what the coaches come up with, and I've been told potentially through some special teams coaches, if we think of an idea, they are open to anything right now, AJ, it sounds like.
That's what I was going to ask you. That's my first question. What do you think we can do to make the kickoff not only like to continue the whole safety aspect of it, but make it entertaining and actually have people returning them?
Yeah, so, but not too much, right? Return, but not too much. It needs to be like a happy, we need about
injuries.
We need about 30% return rate.
35%. Maybe, don't get above 35% return rate because then that's when injuries probably continue to go up and up.
So please figure something out that about 65%
so what are we doing?
of the time.
What can you do?
So, I mean, there's a lot of ideas you just kind of toss out. And, there's 8 people that have to be within 20 yards of where the ball is being kicked. Maybe you make that 9 people. Maybe you do let them have a little bit of a run up too. So maybe back it up to the 30. So then it's like a punt play more so than anything with 2 returners back there. So then you don't have the full speed. I think the collisions that they're worried about is somebody on one side and somebody on the other side saying, I need to feed my family, me too, bang, and running into each other, So I think if you get people running next to each other, I think that's better for the entire thing. They're just going to have to figure out how to officiate that, how to model something that'll have that success rate. And like touchbacks, good, not too much though. We need to find a medium. That's going to be tough to figure out in an offseason. That's going to be tough.
How do you feel about the XFL one?
I hate it. So I hate that.
Is there like an iteration of that?
What exactly do they do?
They do the kickoff coverage practice.
Yeah, 5
basically.
yards away.
Whenever a special teams coach says, I'm going to save your legs.
Down, right? They're already down at the 30, right?
35, I think.
35?
They're on the 30 or the 35.
The kicker's by himself at the minus 30.
Could you flip
Which
that?
is a drill, by the way. That is a drill in every basic NFL team. Whenever the special teams coach wants to save the legs, you just kind of line up down there. You'll kick off because it's still kickoff day, so I'm going to hit my kickoffs. And then they'll blow a whistle when it's time to go. You're able to kind of do your coverage lanes and everything like that. But for me, it's just that's so Mickey Mouse. No offense. No offense.
For a game, yeah, that's good in practice. Yeah, that's not a game.
It looks weird.
Walk into a stadium, you see it. Like, what is this? What is? You know what I mean?
Remember, didn't the original XFL? Didn't they do like a Braveheart? They rolled the ball out and everyone just ran and killed each other and tried to get the ball.
1-on-1, I think. I think it was 1-on-1.
Oh, it was 1-on-1. Yeah. Then, okay, let's do it. Let's go 11-on-11. Kickers involved. Everybody, here we go. Throw that. You guys stand 25 yards apart. Throw the ball into the middle.
Those kickers are going to start looking like probably defensive ends or maybe corners if that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bullock might be ahead of his time.
Yeah, Randy Bullock's going to get that ball.
Really smart special teams coaches, right? And they're like Mitt's dad.
Yes.
Tommy McMahon.
Yes.
Yeah, middle
special teams
gentleman.
coach for the Raiders. He was your special teams coach. You credit him a lot on the
love
show. They're going to bring him in, right? They bring these guys in. They brought him in a year ago, and they have these discussions, and they give them all the ideas. They just got to listen to them and then implement them. That's all.
Yeah, because I heard last year there was a chance that maybe special teams coordinators were called into Philadelphia where NFL Films was.
Yeah.
And a big, long meeting maybe took place, like a long meeting in the off season, where there's maybe some time to do other stuff.
Sure.
And they were questioned and quizzed and ideas and what do you think to save the entire thing. And then turns out all those notes were just like, oh, sweet, thrown away. And then we're just going to do this anyway. So we got to get them to buy in, which they will. And we also got to become an actual, think tank.
Yes.
As opposed to, well, this data analytics person has this idea. It's like, well, that data analytics person has never played football before. Troy Vincent talked about some other stuff as well.
Yeah.
Did he?
He kind of mixed like the hip drop with the gator roll tackle.
Yeah, he did. Got to get rid of it.
Oh. You don't say.
Hip roll drop.
Can't have him gripping, rotating, and dropping. All right.
That's what they teach to keep the head out. No,
Yeah.
that's from the whole
Good
heads up thing.
Yeah, everybody's just a tackling dummy running straight at you. Anyways, that's been the show on ESPN. We'll be back tomorrow to overreact to tonight's game. Cheers. Nailed it, boys.
Let's go.
Way to go. Really proud of us. Really proud of us doing that.
How do you feel about putting that XFL thing, but at the ball instead of at the returner? So putting them 5 or 10 yards apart from each other, but at the kicking point versus the returning point.
I mean,
What?
So like, right now they're 10 yards away, right? And they're stacked. Like, what could you just put all 10, or I guess it'd be 20 players at the ball? It was
so
when
like
it's
all
kicked.
gunners.
So yeah, it'd be more so like a sprint down.
An onside kick, you just say, hey, you got to back up.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta we're doing an onside kick.
Yeah.
So you just gotta.
You got to go back to.
Or give them like 1 yard, within 1 yard of them, but then it becomes. Yeah, it'd be fun to watch how special teams would morph and be like, hey, we need guys to run 4-2s. I can just run past this guy trying to block him right on his hip.
Still, that's pretty much all you need anyways. For you would like 4-2s across the board.
But there's no big guys. No reason to have huge guys.
That one.
Yeah, you get 2 guys on the other team. Like if you get 2 guys on your kickoff team that are exceptionally fast, and you put them at the, let's say, the 1 and the 2, or the 2 and the 3, and you just kick the ball to the right, it's like, what a weapon.
Yeah.
And that returner.
Bloop it a little bit, get you a little bit of hang time.
And that returner's just sitting there, and all of a sudden it's just like, all righty. I think there's a chance, not 100% sure. Could be some electricity.
Try it out. Yeah.
Could be some electricity. Could also
be some car crashes.
Could be a big one.
Yeah.
Which they said they kind of want the excitement of the play back.
Sure.
Well, the excitement of the play is anything could be a touchdown, could be a big hit, could
It's almost like punt. It turned into almost like a punt, but you spread them out. This punt, you run up, you got to fake like you're rushing, boom, lock the dude up, grab him. It could be something like that, I guess.
Nick said he thinks that it should be a punt. That's what the kickoff
That's
should
the move,
be.
AJ. Every kickoff should be a punt play.
He doesn't think like after a safety punt play, which might be the answer.
Just safety punt?
No, we were talking about like imagine being able to block a kickoff.
What's the average hang time? You would know this on a bloop.
On a kickoff?
On a blue kickoff
If
compared
it's
to
like 4-2, 4-3.
That's about as much you can get, right?
That's really good. 4-4, really. There's guys I think that hit like 4-5, 4-6, like big balls. But
if they raise the tee to encourage that.
Okay.
What would
remember,
that do?
because Tom McMahon was cheating.
Yeah,
I know.
Tom McMahon was cheating.
He's got a big brain.
That
he
guy-
wasn't cheating because it wasn't in the rule until he did it.
Until he did it.
And then they had
shit.
to change it.
Love that shit.
He's putting the ball on the back of the tee. So
The
the
guy's
tee,
a weapon.
Yes.
Weapon, dude.
Yeah.
So the tee is built like this, Obviously, it's not this big, but the ball goes in the back of it, and it has to be, inch off the ground or whatever is the rule in the NFL. High school, it's 2 inches. I think up in Canada, there's even, I don't know.
8 inches.
But anyway, so it's this design of this kickoff kickoff tee is basically so there's no friction, but it's able to sit in there. But to hold a ball that's as big as the thing, there's a little bit of an indent. So Tom McMahon was just raising it a half inch, teeing it up on the back of the tee, having the one who's the safety on the play, who would be holding it anyways if it was bad weather, come over and hold it. So he was at an inch and a half when everybody else was just at an inch. And he had Carlson, who had a big leg, and he was hitting this thing skyrocket. He's a part of the problem because those were kickoffs, and those things were getting blooped, and guys were covering down there. And it was like, and then other people started doing it, and then the NFL was like, enough with the cheating. But if you were to get a 2-inch tee, if you were to bring out a 2-inch tee up there, those dudes would be able to
hit it pretty high,
like 4.7, 4.8. Yeah. I mean, those would be like punch.
I'm surprised Midge didn't have it like this.
Oh, sideways,
Yeah.
on the side of the
3 inches.
just a little bit. What if it was up on its? What if he would
on a diamond?
Yeah, if he put it up like this way, like if
You
this is
got a
the tee,
holder.
if this is the tee normally like this, if he just, I'm surprised he didn't just turn that thing completely sideways like this. What? It's a regular. This is NFL regulated tee.
You gave it to us,
right? It's all. That would be just.
Can you hear him?
Yeah.
Can you hear the explanation too on the phone? So here's what I'm thinking. I can have a guy hold it, right? Like it's a windy day. He can come and hold it, right?
Anywhere, yep.
Okay, and like I can have him hold it like on any part of the tee, right?
Yeah, I have to use a tee that the NFL says is good.
Yeah. So I'm going to use the tee, but I'm going to have a holder out there.
Yeah,
is that good?
That's been legal.
Yes, yeah, Tom, that's great.
Okay.
And then he has that tee sideways. And it's like, Tom, too much. You're giving it away. Everybody can see that that's 6
Who was
inches.
the first game against? Because you know the special team.
So
coach,
mad.
He's like,
so mad. What is that guy doing? What is that
Well,
guy
he's pissed
doing?
that he didn't come up with it. He's pissed that he didn't come up with that.
absolutely. But then the phone was ringing.
Immediate halftime, or maybe first quarter. This guy's using a.
Yeah, it was the
He's
Patriots.
cheating with the
see
tee.
what
Patriots last year, Bill would rip apart his office at halftime or even first quarter. He'd be so pissed he didn't come up with that before.
Yeah, pretty brilliant. I mean, that's what these special teams coordinators are. That's why, like, we should keep in there them strategizing returns.
Yes.
Like, it's good for the game. Better football. Like, it's better football. Like, that's a play that can be game changer immediately. Like, even if it's a return to the 40 or the 50, it's like, do you know the percentage of scoring whenever you start there as opposed to at your own 20, which guys can do whenever they cover in there? And when they bloop one up high, it's like, that's a weapon. That's real strategy. That's real football. I hope we're able to figure it out. But we're going to come up with some ideas. We're going to pitch the hell out of them. Let's get to a break here as we hop over to the next hour. Big perk. Kendrick Perkins will be joining us at 2:10 Eastern Standard Time. And breaking news out of Cleveland, Joe Flacco just signed a deal. We'll talk about that. We'll talk to Big Perk. We got a lot happening on this glorious Week 15 Thursday. And Chuck Pagano will give his pick.
Oh, yeah, Chuck.
Remember, he has won 100% more of the time than he has lost on this particular season on Thursday Night Football. He waffled last week, got an L. But tonight, Chargers, Raiders. Chuck Pagano gets off the schneid and gets back into the dub column. We can't wait for it. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice that might change their life. Take 5.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Undercover.
He's an undercover dog. He's an undercover dog for sure.
My first undercover dog is Ivy Pace Jr. Only played 9 games this year. He's 6th on the team in tackles. This week, he had 14 tackles, 1 PBU, 1 TFL, and the game-winning interception. What was really more exciting to me, running full speed, 232 pounds, and hit a backflip like this. My second undercover, David Njoku. This past week, he had 6 catches for 91 yards. He's the first on the team with 59 catches and 4 touchdowns. Man burnt his whole face off. Check out his second touchdown on Sunday in his stiff arm. My third undercover, Brandon Arbor. First kicker to have 2 59-plus yard kicks in the same game. He's 30 for 30. He has the longest streak right now to start a career without missing. Every week, this film is for guys who don't get the recognition that the big names get. Hashtag undercover. Help me pick out my guys for next week.
He's an undercover dog. He's an undercover dog for sure.
If you're the NCAA and you're sitting in that stupid office in Indianapolis where we happen to live, it's a great city. It's a great town. And there's a dumb institution that is ruling over college football. Because if you don't want these people dancing... Celebration, bitches!
What's a major? Is that the president's name?
Oh, that's Kurt Signatic.
Do we like the NCAA? Do we like Pat? Do we love the Dukes? I wish when I was asked, like, why did you punt? I could say my subcommittee recommended I punt. Talk your shit. This guy's hot. This guy's hot.
We'll see you in the next hour. I say today, we take a stand against the NCAA. Let them bowl.
Let them bowl. Amen.
Rest in peace, Dale. Moment of silence for Dale Earnhardt. Moment has passed. Thank you, Dale. This one's for 3. AJ Hawk, $5,000. This has been one of the coolest moments of my entire professional life. JMU! Thank you so much for the hospitality. JMU! You understand quickly that there's idiots making decisions in every single place that you would never guess idiots would be making decisions. You don't think bowl season deserves to have this situation cooking behind it? College football is better because JMU's football is crushing. College is better because what their football team is doing. The community is better. And the NCAA, yet again, adds to their long list of decisions. Look at that scene, bro, in the hills of Virginia. You know what? To hell with all of them. James Madison, right here. Right here. That chef looks damn good. I'd eat that guy's meat any day of the week. If you're able to bury this 33-yard field goal, kicking is easy is what you have said to kickers before. Others have on the internet. Now, 90 racks on the line. We believe. Oh! Kill the kid! Kill the kid! Our worst kid yet! 100 racks of charity. This dog stinks! And that's that the JMU are going to crush App State. They would crush anybody this weekend, especially in this city with how dumb the NCAA is. Let them bowl and let the boys dominate today.
In my Constitution, I have the First Amendment right to free speech. Pat has the Second Amendment right to take its sleeves off and show the bare arms all the time. But I'm saying, if we are so lucky to go undefeated this year, and we end up winning in a bowl game, if we get in, I'm going to use my First Amendment to declare the JMU Dukes national champions. Like UCF. I'm just going to say it, and come and stop me. Time to coach.
I'm jacked. I am. It's working. All of it's working.
They'll have one loss because App State is beating JMU Mountaineers, baby. They're going to dog
Let's go! This show stinks, and the fact that you listen, we are very, very thankful for it. The all-time leading tackler for the Green Bay Packers, you pig! Damn it! Be a friend, tell a friend something nice could change their life. Sport! Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to our humble abode, the Thunderdome, on this week 15. Jeez. Hour 3 starts now.
Football!
What happened? No juice.
Get your fours up, boys. Get your fours up.
It's fourth quarter, bro. It's fourth quarter of the season. That's AJ Hawk on the big screen there. That's Chuck Pagano on my right over here. Coached football 36 years. It's Tony Diggs in a cowboy hat.
This is what we train for.
Talks the table at Ty Schmidt and Boston Connor with the mullet there you see on the left side of the screen. As we enter the fourth quarter, remember all those off-season workouts. That's why you lift all them weights.
Amen.
That's why you run all them hills.
Right.
Yeah.
This is why we have to enjoy every single moment of tonight's Chargers-Raiders game.
Damn right.
Easton Stick's playing. Woo. I don't give a stick. How about that? Ooh. It's NFL football, and we are in the fourth quarter. Now, we know we have overtime, and overtime begins with Super Wild Card Weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes into great football in the playoffs, but there's only going to be a couple games on.
That's it.
We're here, and we are closers, aren't we?
Amen. That's right. This is when we play our best ball.
We're trending north, not south. And that's not just our ability and our level of energy.
Right.
That's our feelings towards football and our gratitude.
That's right.
Chuck, go ahead. You were saying we got to what?
Believe it. You can't just hold them up. You got to
Come on, Diggs. Come on, Diggs.
Well, you were trying to put them down.
Yeah.
So was AJ. I saw you two. You two were the least committed to the fours
Shoulder.
that I fucking saw while I'm giving
My
this.
thumb's been cramping up for 25 seconds already.
You've already put your hand down on the table over there.
You can't
No,
feel
it was up. It was just out of the screen. Diggs he has to support his arm with his left arm. I'm not doing that.
Well, it's new Diggs. Diggs is super thin. You know what I mean? This is thin Diggs.
All Diggs would not.
Look at the back room. Look at those fours flying high.
Come on now.
Can you switch?
Fours.
No!
I got
If you want
the
8
neck.
quarters, maybe you can put up both.
Is Mitt doing it?
Sure.
You put up both. Mitt's put up his 4.
Mitt.
Mitt knows football. Mitt knows ball. Mitt's got his 4 up for sure.
Yup.
Go really high. Look at Mitt.
Boom.
Mitt might have had all 5 fingers out there.
Yeah. Does Talk have it up yet or no?
Talk better have his fucking 4.
Yeah, you're damn right he better.
Talk is a fourth quarter guy, too. Talk doesn't, Talk's a closer.
I would hope.
Talk's a finisher.
He's staring down that screen.
He's always finishing.
Talk is behind that black curtain there. That would have been tough.
Camera out there?
Do we have a camera that is not in the
It's not in there right now.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Hey, do not put your 4s down because
I can see him. I can see him. I can see the 4s.
4s up, boys.
4s up.
Talk, I would need to see those.
Let's close the season out how it should be.
Hell yeah.
We've battled for 3 quarters of this season with some under football.
Definitely.
Not a lot of points.
Nope.
A lot of it.
Defense this year playing great.
Yeah.
We lost out on maybe the greatest touchdown in regular season seen sometime.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't ruin anything for this last quarter.
No way.
Nope.
Let's close this out, boys. 4's on me. 4's on 3. 1, 2, 3. 4.
Fours.
We did it.
Let's go, boys.
Shoulder workout. Good shoulder workout.
Great shoulder workout.
Good shoulder workout.
Yeah.
Feeling a little burn.
Yeah.
Feeling a little burn.
Should we do it with the
Little
opposite
bit.
hand now?
Little bit.
People forget that's a show of toughness too when you put that
There you
up.
go.
Yeah, it is.
Because your shoulder's still good.
That's right.
Because you gotta
This
hold that.
trap, remember I was locked up? Now I'm starting to feel better.
Oh, yeah.
Joining us now.
Shut up, old man.
What's your problem? We said we're done.
God,
You couldn't wait.
We
You
said
did-
Dana worked it out
You
for
wait
him.
for
Sitting
me
on
to give you an opening.
Bingo.
Stop it.
You did.
A piece of news that just kind of entered the world. You can get Carolina Panthers tickets this weekend starting at 45 cents.
That makes sense.
Couple gumballs.
That's not good business. You know what else isn't good business? Maybe kicking Joker out of a game whenever it's Serbian Heritage Night.
Huh?
Yeah.
Come on.
Maybe I'm not going to mock anybody. Okay. It's a big deal.
Okay.
Sure.
It's a big deal.
If you were to.
Draymond Green, known basketball goon, just like hockey has goons, slapped the guy in the mouth the other night.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
That is leading news.
That's all he did? The world didn't end?
What's that?
Huh?
He slapped the guy in the mouth.
Yeah. Was it the president?
He didn't kill somebody on the court?
No, he slapped the guy right in the mouth.
I would have thought that he would have killed. The way that people were acting.
Joining us now is maybe a man that can clarify why this was such big news. We had no idea. This entire week, we've been so flustered about why this is such big news. Maybe this man can join us. An absolute stud, friend of the program. At one point, people said he was racist. I said, that can't be true. Perk shows us nothing but love, and we're the whitest group of humans on earth. Ladies and gentlemen, basketball legend, Kendrick Perkins.
What's up, fellas?
Perk, big question here. Okay, we appreciate you joining us. You look fantastic. Clean chain. Okay, that's an absolutely clean chain there. And we've loved you re-emerging onto TV because it's basketball.
Well, Pat, I tried to make a fashion statement today and throwing a turtleneck, but my turtleneck not really necking around the neck. It's not really hugging around the neck like I like it to, but it's all good though.
Hey, that means you're getting thin, right? That's what that means.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Lose some weight.
I'm trying to get back into the 4X, so you can imagine what size this turtleneck
is. Perk, what are you? You're 6 foot what? You're 6 foot what?
I'm 6'10".
Jeez.
Damn.
You're such a monster of a human. Like, if we're walking down the street, everybody's this to Kendrick Perkins. And what did you play at? What was the weight you played at?
Oh, 275, 280.
Where are you at right now?
Pat, I'm a little sensitive. But you know what? I don't care, right? All right. I'm about 395, 98, you know what I'm saying?
Same as Zion.
I touched the 400 mark and I decided to go on a diet.
Okay, so you're 6'10", decided to change your life once you hit 400 pounds, and you're an athletic build too underneath there. You're a dog. We all understand that. But the reason why I brought this up is because of what Tone just mentioned there. This Zion Williamson story is kind of hitting like a fever pitch with everybody chit-chatting about it. And Zion came out and said, if they're saying it in a fashion that they want me to be great, I appreciate it. If it's in a negative way, obviously everybody has their own opinion and everything like that. This is a real deal, though. Like, he's special. He has the opportunity. Is there messaging from OGs from the NBA to him? How do you think he's going to manage this entire situation right now?
Well, one, how about accountability? Okay, that's the problem with Zion. So think about this for a second. Zion as a rookie, we talked about his weight. His second year, we talked about his weight. His third year, we've talked about his weight. Last year, which was his fourth year, we talked about his weight. Now in year 5, we're still talking about Zion weight and him being heavy, and the organization is having problems with him dieting and taking care of his body. Like, accountability has to fall in place. We're talking about a guy in between LeBron James and Victor Wembanyama. Zion Williamson probably was the most, one of the top prospects to ever come out, okay, in the basketball space. All right, so my thing is this. Don't give us a reason, or don't give the OGs like Shaq and Barkley and, Stephen A. to talk about your weight. How about go and do something about it? And do it at a consistent basis. Don't let your teammates down, right? I was a person who had weight problems. I'm still dealing with it today. But at the end of the day, I knew I had to go get my extra 30 minutes of cardio in. I knew I had to do the little things that everybody else couldn't do, for us making sure while I'm watching them eating certain things on the PJ when we fly into different cities, I'm eating bananas and, peanut butter sandwiches. I couldn't have the jelly.
No, the peanut butter was okay. The jelly not. Yeah. I appreciate that, making a little sacrifice, amongst them. But I think that's why it's important for guys like you to talk about it, and Chuck to talk about it, and Shaq to talk about it, because you're all guys who obviously can put on weight if you're not being disciplined. But whenever you were playing ball, you were fully committed to playing basketball. It's like, why hasn't that kind of tapped into Zion's brain? We will never know. But Zion, we're pulling for you, buddy.
Come on, Zion.
We're pulling for you. We are. We're pulling for you, Zion. Now let's talk about another basketball story, shall we? Why is this Draymond Green thing like leading news across all sports? Isn't this just Draymond Green? Isn't this like what he does? Is that just a dumb take by me? Why?
Well, Pat, look, man, we're talking about a guy that is arguably one of the greatest defenders to ever play the game of basketball, right? Draymond Green doesn't get enough credit for how he changed the game for us being an undersized power forward / center, right? And so when you think about Draymond and you look at how he's being viewed, how he's been being viewed over the last year and a half, well, just this season, right? It's like we've been seeing less of actual basketball because his production has went down. We could see that his game on the offensive end and defensive end has a decline. And now all of a sudden he's doing this, he's having this uncanny behavior, right? Like the things that he's doing right now are bad for the game of basketball.
Okay.
And with Draymond Green, I think in his mind, everybody keeps saying he needs help. He needs help. So obviously there's something going on in his personal life, okay? That's number one. But outside of that, the basketball gods in the NBA will always humble you in some form or some fashion. When you get to a level where you think that you're bigger than the actual brand, all of a sudden reality hits you. And that's what's happening with Draymond Green right now, and rightfully so.
So that's why it's all a big deal, because bad for basketball, big name guy, obviously all of this, but it's like his third time this season happening. And you said the last year and a half, that all started when A.J. Hawk became an NBA analyst. Do you remember? Whenever he punched that guy.
Clocked him.
Punched him right through the face.
Knockout.
At practice. And then the video hits the internet and everybody's like, damn, teammate, what's going on there? And A.J. says, it's going to be tough to become friends after that.
Yeah.
And then they led Turner led NBA season with A.J. Hawk saying, it's going to be tough to be friends after that thing. And it was like, that's when it all kind of started, this entire situation with him, right? That's what you were kind of alluding to?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's wild to me. It's wild to me.
But here's the thing, right? You think about Draymond actions and you think about who Draymond is, right? Or who he used to be, because he's not that no more. The leader of not just the organization, but across the NBA. So many guys looked up to Draymond as a mentor, as a quote-unquote OG, as a big brother. That's not the case no more.
Got it.
When you get into it with a guy like Donovan Mitchell, that means you really have a problem. Donovan Mitchell is one of the best individuals in the game for his personality, his character. Okay, and then when you think about him, he had a little lip wrestling battle with Anthony Edwards. See, the thing is now, a lot of people hear Draymond barking, but they're not scared no more because he's not biting.
That's what Anthony Edwards said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not biting. So, I mean, you can't choke someone out and you can't just slap someone. I don't even know if it was a slap, but I mean, damn, man, how much is the NBA and the rest of the league supposed to take? And when you hear Nurkic come out and say what he said post-game, you heard Kevin Durant speak on it last night after the game. It's a serious problem.
All right. Well, we hope it gets figured out, obviously, Draymond. And, because basketball, this isn't the normal conversation either, like a guy punching somebody in the face.
No.
That's not a normal thing. Normally it's player pissed off at fan, wanted to punch in face.
Yeah.
That is normally the physicality that happens, and those fans deserve it, by the way. I'm 100% on the side of the players. There's another ejection, AJ, up there in Chicago that got the people buzzing.
Yeah, Perk, what do you think is going on with all of that? And who exactly got thrown out of that game, Pat?
Joker got kicked out of Serbian Heritage Night in Chicago. That ref, I assume, is never going to ref another game again. There's no way.
And he shouldn't.
Okay, good. All right, I like this.
And I'm tired of I'm tired of the Jokic disrespect from the officials. Okay, this guy is the best player in the NBA. Okay, a Finals MVP, won the championship last year, and has never cheated the game of basketball. Right? He's reliable, available. He puts up his numbers. He wins games. And so when I think about all the other players across the league, the superstars, right? And what they get away with when it comes down to having conversations with officials. That's what we're going to call it, right? Speaking their mind, because it's the emotional game. The tolerance that officials have for other superstar players, they don't seem to keep that same energy when it comes to Jokic. And that's not fair.
Why is that, you think? What is it? Do you think with his
Well,
accent it sounds a little
white.
What's that?
Okay, it's not because he's white. All right.
Whoa! Whoa! Racist word.
No, I'm just saying seriously. I don't know, but it's not right though. My thing is that keep the same energy. You know, I'm pretty sure there's times LeBron, Steph, Kevin Durant, Giannis, they didn't went to the officials and they probably didn't have the best choice of words either, or they didn't complain to a certain level that, they probably could have been thrown out of the game, but they know that the fans are there to see the superstars, no matter how any other role player want to feel, right? I played with so many Hall of Famers. I knew when I was on the Celtics, I knew fans were showing up to see Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen.
Hell yeah.
Damn it, I was just part of it, and it's okay. Keep the superstars in the game.
Yeah, hey, that's the same thing with the NFL. We got 14 backup quarterbacks playing. Wait till you see what the NFL does this offseason.
Yeah.
God
bless America.
We are changing rules immediately. We are here to see the superstars. That's why in the NBA, where everybody is so quick to jump and say, Adam Silver's on the phone with the refs, to see Joker get kicked out second quarter, Serbian Heritage Night in Chicago. It's like, that's bad business. That is just completely bad business. I apologize, AJ. I thought that's where you were headed. Your turn. Go ahead, pal.
No, but it brings me to my question about it. What could you possibly say, Perk, to get kicked out of a game and not get a technical first? Like, if I understand maybe saying something to get a tech, but is that in a rule book anywhere of like abusive language, whatever is immediate ejection?
It is, AJ, but it also determines who the referee is, right? Right? Like, is it a vet referee? Is it a young official? Your relationship with the official? I led the league in techs a few years while I was playing. But I did have some great relationships with a lot of the officials where they already knew, okay, Perk, we know you're going to show emotions. We know you're going to gripe about every single call, even when it don't involve you. So I think all that plays a factor. You know what I mean? But I do know this. And people could say, oh, it's not like this. Superstars get the benefit of the doubt. I mean, if you could, the things I used to hear Kevin Garnett say to the officials, I could not get away with it. So my thing is this, again, AJ, we want to see the superstars, man. And if the officials could dial back a minute, it's a game of emotions, right? We know Jokic and all these other superstars don't mean any harm. So at the end of the day, people are paying their hard-earned money to see the superstars. And if you could refrain from giving a guy a tech, damn it, do it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and save the fourth quarter. We're here. Mm-hmm. Let's preserve a final here that everybody wants to see. Not that you should be calling anything out of pocket.
Yes.
Because a lot of people gambling on this thing as well with their hard-earned money. We need you. There is another situation that has been fantastic, though, Perk. Can't wait to hear your take on it. Go ahead, Con.
Yeah, Perk, first off, you're high if you think Celtics fans weren't going to watch you and Rajon Rondo. As one of them myself, I mean, a lot of people, just so you know, and, some people would also say if, DeAndre Ayton had a little Kendrick Perkins in him, then the Suns probably win two championships over the past few years. But with all that being said, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago when the Rockets were in L.A., there was a kind of a sideline conversation of Ime Udoka and LeBron, and he might have called LeBron a bitch, and then LeBron might have said, hey, don't use that word. And then he might have said, do something about it, bitch, or something along those lines. I know there's a transcript.
Lip readers.
There's lip readers and transcripts, but if you forget that and just watch the people that can hear him directly behind Ime Udoka, it was definitely something along those lines. But is bitch kind of outlawed in the NBA? Is that something you're not really allowed to say? And also, is this normal for coaches to be chirping LeBron James, or is this strictly Ime Udoka not giving a damn?
Well, I think it's Ime Udoka setting the tone for his young Rockets team, right? And obviously you should never cross that line because, truth be told, those are fighting words. And I believe Braun, from what I heard, said don't use that word so loosely.
Yes.
And that's when they kind of got into it. But, when I think about Ime Udoka, he's setting the tone because he's trying to establish culture, right? And in some of these young dogs and some of these young guys like Jalen Green, they need that extra right? They need that dog mentality. They need to have it where it's Rockets against the world, and especially when you're on the road. So, Ime Udoka, he did that when he was with the Celtics. I mean, he set the tone. And I actually enjoy it. Like, I didn't got into altercations, not physical altercations, but a little boxing with certain coaches. Me and the great Mike Woodson. We had our altercations during the playoffs. I was trying to take the ball out. He was standing in my spot. I said, move. He said, F you. I said, F you. And we just kept it moving. But I think it's all good for the game of basketball, man. Like, seriously, I mean, I don't want to see people – like, I hate the jersey swaps. I hate the dabbing up after the games.
Yes.
Oh, let's catch dinner. No, I want to see the real petty stuff. I want to see the Indiana Pacers – taking and hiding Giannis's ball last night. Like, I want to see that. That create rivalry. That create, we're going to be looking forward to when they play again. Like, we want to see that type of shit. Yeah. I forgot I could curse a little bit on here.
Yeah, you said F you, and I was pretty thankful, saving the kids' ears.
Thank God. Sure.
But the thought of you and Mike Woods to go, fuck you, no, fuck you, all right? And then just passing it and just jogging in. That's a hilarious visual. We appreciate you doing that. And you're an old man now. That's what you are. We talk about this in football pretty much. Mm-hmm. Everything you're saying right now is like, you're from the generation that was the norm. That's just what it was. Yeah. That was the motivation. That was the inspiration. That was everything. And now everybody's friends with everybody. And not everybody. There's old school guys around there. Yeah. But you talked about one particular pettiness situation last night. Tone Diggs has a question for you, Perk.
Yeah, Big Perk, you brought it up. So where is the hierarchy as far as game balls go? Does the 64-point game of a proven superstar game ball, the most points he's ever scored, does that outweigh the first points of a rookie on another team? How does that work? Because, I kind of thought Giannis should have got the ball.
Whoa, damn.
First of all, I never in my 14 years of playing, I've never been part of a locker room where a rookie gets the game ball for scoring his first bucket.
Good to know.
Ever. I never heard of that. And Giannis dropped a 64-piece last night. I mean, like, damn, you know what I mean? But that's just the Pacers being petty. But get a man the ball. Like, you actually have to do something to that nature, reach a milestone or whatever the case may be. Giannis did that. 64 with no threes. Yeah, 64 points, no three-pointers. It was the last person that had like 64 points with no threes. That was the highest rated since the three-point line was, put into the NBA.
Who was it?
It was Giannis.
Oh, okay. He did it, yeah, absolutely dominated.
Weapon.
Just a full force. We got to see him up close.
Now, you see why he went crazy? He just did something no one has ever done, I believe. Right? He's done something that no one has ever done. You don't think he wanted to fight for that damn basketball?
How often basketballs get taken home in the NBA? We have game balls that get handed out afterwards. There's, I don't know how many of them. Normally it's one or two. Have they been used in that game? We don't know. I don't know. Never got one of those ones. But afterwards, then there's like ceremonial game balls that are handed out to people that had a great game. That's kind of standard operating procedure in the NFL. What is it in the NBA? How does that whole thing work?
Well, I got a game ball. The one game ball that I did get. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm just saying, my first time as a starter, it was against the Philadelphia 76ers, against Allen Iverson and Mutombo. I believe I had like 6 points, 4 or 6 points, but I had 13 rebounds.
Hell yeah.
3 blocks. I impacted the game. And they said, big fella, we wouldn't have won this without you. First time starting, here go the ball. I got it, the numbers on it and everything. It means something, but you actually got to do something, not just score a bucket.
Yeah, and also on the other side, even though you had 13 boards and 3 steals and everything like that, blocks, if on the other side, a former MVP and a guy who's won a champion and is one of the stars of the league went for 64 or whatever, he's probably getting that ball over you. You're probably not getting that ball. I guess situations are situational.
Right, exactly. And I wouldn't want the ball, especially if I lost. Like, Giannis scored 64, man. Like, if you're going to be petty, go be petty to Miles Turner for letting Giannis play caddy ball with him all night.
Ty Schmidt
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're the mandatory basketball, man.
Okay, so this is a normal thing. This is
Yeah.
you've earned the ball.
Yeah.
You get the ball, take it home, put it in a frame, put it in a mantle, have a nice moment later in life. Later in life.
But Pat, listen, y'all, it's not just the ball. AJ, it's not just the ball. A lot of guys take the jersey if they had a special moment, the shoes. You know what I mean? It's not just the basketball.
You have the wine glass with a.
Didn't Rick Carlisle come on and say after I heard his press conference say there's 2 game balls, we don't need the actual one that can go to Giannis, so now this should be. Is everything okay now, Perk, you think?
Well,
no, because then Giannis came on and said this doesn't feel like the actual game ball. So somebody's lying.
Hey,
you always got 2 sides. You got the one side. There's always 3 sides to the story. One person, the other person, and the truth.
Amen. But the truth of the matter is you would know if it was the game ball there, right? I think I saw a video last week. Ball got into somebody's drink side court, and LeBron James followed the ref with the ball and said, same ball, same ball. We're staying with that ball. As the refs are drawing it, it's like balls feel different, and there's like Giannis would know what the ball was from that evening, right? He would know that.
Yeah, and balls actually do feel different, okay? But when you take
basketball. So all the balls,
basketballs,
Park, all the balls that you have felt over this entire thing. You played a long time.
Yeah, long
Perk
time.
played a long time.
A lot of balls.
A lot of balls, Perk. A lot of balls in hand. Yours.
So the basketball, the NBA basketball, like you could tell, it's a little heavier. Once you done played with it because of the sweat and it absorbed the sweat, it's easier to grip. Like you could tell the difference of it.
Okay, got it. Especially with all those hands on those balls.
Yeah, more balls.
You know, because there's so many hands.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa,
My ball. A lot of balls.
Whoa. Give me the balls. Give me the balls. Ty has a question for you, Perk.
Yeah, Perk. I think for all intents and purposes, the in-season tournament was a massive success for like fans when going into the year when they first, kind of mentioned it. I think a lot of people, especially casual fans, were like, this is fucking stupid. I don't know why we're doing this, but it was really cool seeing like the guys on the end of the bench for the Lakers who knew they were getting that $500,000 bonus, like kind of going ape shit when they won. As a player, going into next year, in your opinion, like what do you think they can do to kind of improve it and make it better? And what were your overall thoughts of it this year?
I actually thought it was a home run, and I love Adam Silver. He's a fucking genius, and I think honestly, it's not. I mean, I understand the point spread rule, but it's not much I would change about the in-season tournament. I thought it was great overall, and I thought most importantly, LeBron James set the tone of how you should actually approach it. If you go back and watch every in-season game that mattered, tournament game that mattered, he played it like it was a playoff game, and he actually set the tone. The way that they celebrated, it was genuine. So it set the tone for the league. And see, here's the bigger picture what people don't realize. See, Adam Silver is really, really smart. I think he's one of, if not the best commissioner in sports. That's just my personal opinion.
All right.
Okay, it's a bigger play to this, all right? It's not just the $500,000. And if the players who are really involved with what's going on when you talk about, the money and the end goal, right? Eventually, guess what? Somebody's going to say, you know what? We want the rights to this in-season tournament. All of a sudden, that creates a bigger revenue for the pot that adds to the pot more than the $500,000.
Smart.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Too much money ain't enough money, and it feels like anytime you add a new promotion like the in-season tournament, there's going to be new revenue streams that come. And to your point, it was like LeBron, who I think during COVID also had a similar effect. It was like, I think the story came out of the bubble where somebody grabbed a microphone and said, Pat Beverly grabbed a microphone and said like, hey, Bron, whatever you're doing, we're doing. So like, why don't you just figure it out pretty much is how I heard the story. And it's like with the in-season tournament, you turn on the Lakers and LeBron is going hard and he's talking about how awesome it is. And afterwards, he's talking about how much he loved it. And then his teammates, the two-way players at the end of the bench, they're like, LeBron told us he's got our back with the $500,000, which was like a 60% increase in pay for some of the guys that are on the Lakers. It's like, now California took $250,000. Congrats to them.
Sons of bitches.
From every single player with the taxes. But like, I think LeBron was the reason reason why it was so heightened. And then you got guys like Tyrese Halliburton, who became a star in the middle of that entire thing. It was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I'm a big fan. Now let's talk about the champions of that team. Go ahead, Chuck.
Hey, Big Perk, huge fan of yours. So the Lakers winning that deal. Anthony Davis, like we're talking about superstars, we're talking about consistency today on this call with you. He was an absolute friggin' dog, right?
Yep.
In that in-season game, that final. And then last night he scores 37.
Yeah.
LeBron doesn't play. I was waiting for, I think everybody else was waiting for, like, okay, LeBron's out. Maybe he's not going to show up tonight. He's done that last year. It seems like we're getting a more consistent. Can we expect this on the night in, night out of Anthony Davis this year?
I believe so, and that's a great question. You know, we all have short-term memory at times when it comes to these athletes, but people forget last season the Lakers went to the Western Conference Finals. But in order for them to get to the Western Conference Finals, when they made those trades in February, you know, they had to make a serious run. And LeBron James was out. Anthony Davis arguably was the best player in the league the way that he played the game and got the Lakers into the play-in tournament, which got them into the postseason. So people forgot how consistent he was the back end of the season last year. Now this season, offensively, yeah, he was still trying to find his rhythm. He wasn't aggressive. He didn't have a couple 40 balls early. But if you go and look at what he was doing defensively, right, we looking at one of the league leaders in minutes, right? I think he's number 2 behind Jokic right now in block shots. I mean, in rebound, and number 1 in block shots, and number 1 for his defensive protection at the basket. So now all of a sudden you see that 25 game, 30 game mark, you start to see guys start to get their legs up under them, especially big men. And now we're seeing Anthony Davis actually get into basketball shape. And now all of a sudden it's starting to translate on both ends of the floor. So I think AD is just getting started.
Okay, I love to hear that because he had some wiggle too, man. You know what I mean?
He
has some wiggle with how big he is and the moxie, obviously. If he's confident, which I think he lost his confidence last year, it seemed like whenever you're watching, there was a lot of confidence. And then when LeBron gets the most points in history in the way he was, it was like it felt like where he was mentally wasn't where he is now. You look at that celebration of the in-season tournament, the NBA Cup, he's like having a great time. You know what I mean? And LeBron, the hat goes right to who? Anthony Davis, the first person with that toss. It's like, feels like they're empowering him as well. Good luck to the Lakers. Can Lakers win it? Who's winning? Who's winning this thing?
I don't know.
Come on, Perk, that's why you're here. What are we talking about?
No, I know, but I'm looking at, so you know what? Let me say this. If I had to pick it right now today, and I had to bet everything I had on one team to win it all.
Let's not get crazy. We don't want you to. We don't need you to lose everything.
Come on, Perk.
Just need you. You know what I mean?
Well, I got friends like you and AJ and the boys that will loan me something if I lost it all.
Exactly. You're right. We'll bring you back. We'll bring you back.
The right answer.
But I think it would be the Boston Celtics.
Yes, Perk. Yes.
Yeah. I think it would be the Boston Celtics. Like right now, today, I just don't see any team beating the Boston Celtics in the 7-game series.
Fucking right.
I just don't.
Park, you just made somebody so loud.
Thank
Not just
God.
right now, but like what we're about to experience over here. I don't know if you know how the Bruins are doing too. Bruins
also top of the table.
Bruins pretty good too. You know, so the Patriots suck, but they can just immediately deflect. What are you talking about?
It's not football season.
We're about to win the Stanley Cup.
We're talking about the city of champions, though, Pat. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is in the New England area.
Just keep going, Perk. Keep going.
It's going to be hard to live with.
All right, Perk.
Keep going,
Thanks for doing everything you did to most of this conversation, except for there at the very end. Have a good. What do you got next? What are you doing next?
NBA Today. I'll be on right after the show.
Okay, so NBA Today, because you're back in our world now. So NBA Today, NBA Countdown, you're also on that?
No, not tonight. Not tonight. We don't have games tonight. Tonight is, you know what I'm saying, my hotel room. I'm in L.A.
Oh, that's nice. Have a good one out there. Good laws out there, Perk. Now, what is your schedule though? We'll see you on like Get Up and First Take. We'll see you on NBA Countdown, and we'll see you on NBA Today. Now we're in it.
Yeah, Sports Center. Yeah.
Yeah.
ESPN Bet. Yeah.
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 Seeing green.
Yeah. Let's get down to 3X. Hey, let's get down to 3X. You know, we were at 5X.
That's the goal.
We're at 4X.
That's the goal.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's the goal. I ain't trying to get to a 6-pack, but a 2-pack is perfectly fine with me.
Up at the top, yeah, because those bottom ones, that's been there a long time. You know, this one up here, we could get. I have the same problem. I have the same exact problem. Ladies and gentlemen, Kendrick Perkins. Thank you, buddy. I like Perk a lot.
Yeah, and he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I am a big fan of Perk. Now, the reaction to Perk is a hilarious one.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think everything he does is entertaining.
Hilarious.
Like, I think he is a hilarious individual.
Yeah.
So whenever he's just like grunting on a microphone, when he's not a part of the conversation, like I find that hilarious.
There's some great clips. There's some great clips of it.
I find it funny because I'm sure in his brain
he's real.
Like,
he
what
is
do you want
real.
me to do? I don't have a button. I don't have one. I'm just sitting here. You know, what do you want me to do? Like, I appreciate it. I feel like he's good-hearted. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
very much so,
for sure.
Feels like
They were calling him racist, though. You remember that?
Oh, they're killing him last year.
Racist
Killing
Perk.
him.
In the middle of that, we had him on the show.
It was 'cause
introduced him as racist Perk.
I remember that. That was awesome.
Because he wanted
that was really good.
someone beside Jokic to be MVP. Was that?
Yeah.
I think he said Embiid, who ended up winning MVP.
Yeah. Yeah. I love Perk. I feel like he's on a lot of shows right now.
True.
So I don't know how much time he'll have.
We should kind of play to it. Like on days like today, on Thursday, when we know the NBA is on TNT and not ESPN, that's one less thing that he's doing.
Well, yeah, because I know next to nothing about the NBA. Watch the in-season tournament finals because the Pacers were in there and the buzz around the city was good.
Yeah.
Sold out the arena here.
Yeah.
To watch, AJ.
Yeah.
To watch.
It was there.
He was.
Oh, it was a watch party from there?
Sold it out. Didn't have
Big
tickets.
deal. It's a big deal.
Yes, Pacers are huge in this town, like with a fan base. You know what I mean?
Halliburton's taking over the world, I feel like. If you're not even paying attention to basketball, he still will pop up in your feed like what he is doing.
The way he shoots is so unique.
Yeah.
And he is just lights. I love everything about it. I love that we're getting a chance to talk to the best commissioner in sports, Adam Silver.
Sure.
Perkins' words, not mine.
Well, I think he's true, and because the other commissioner
But Dana.
too
Does
scared.
Dana count?
Oh, no, he's president.
He's president, yeah.
President.
Yeah.
But, Chuck, you're a man that I think has probably had more conversations with our commissioner than any of us. Why do you think he's scared to come on this show? What do you think of this, Chuck?
What'd you tell him?
Yeah, what'd you
What'd you
say?
say to him?
What'd you
Chuck?
tell him,
What'd you tell him, Chuck?
Don't go on that guy's show.
Whoa, what was that? That was a little Connor of you. It sounded like you were.
That was
Yeah,
Ty.
I mean,
That
I
was
support
Ty.
it. I tried to encourage him. I'll
Ty
show
does-
you the text.
Ty
You
does it in
had
person.
you said, "Hey, maybe we." What do you? And so boom, 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 boom. Hey, I think it'd be awesome. You're an incredible human.
Come on,
You're
let's go.
so smart.
Come on. He is.
No, I've got it.
Chuck's plugged everywhere, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll get a text from Chuck every once in a while and say, I just got a text from insert name here, then there's a comma, or a comma, explanation of who person is, absurd title, and then comma, and then the rest of the message. And it's like, thank you for that. They were very kind, that person, whatever they said.
So
but he's
he would
connected
be-
to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Just want to let you know that. Chuck plug.
He would be awesome.
He would be.
Yeah. No. He.
When are we gonna make that
I don't know
happen?
why. I don't.
Maybe Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Nobody's
Seniors like
telling
the-
him. He doesn't have to go to like, hey, do you think it's okay if I jump on this show? You run the thing. You're making $60 million.
Yeah, just Zoom call. That's all we need. But I think he also likes to be in person, potentially. Maybe that's the reasoning. He wants to be able to feel the vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wants to be able to experience it, which we respect.
Yeah, then why doesn't he come? Like, it's not as.
Oh, yeah, just fly to Indianapolis just to do the show?
That ain't happening.
That's a tough thing. A lot of people ask us, like, why don't you guys do more in-studio guests? It's like, okay, are you guys booking them to come to Indianapolis? That is a little bit of a curse of being in the middle of the country, you know, because a lot of these things all happen. There's like press runs and stuff where people stop by. New York, LA, two biggest cities in America, also have a lot of entertainment happening within them. So that is a downfall of being in Indiana, but the upside is everything else.
Yeah,
bingo.
It is
Also,
absolutely
the
fantastic.
governor of the Utah Jazz said this is not a flyover state anymore.
Yeah, well, he is also worth $4.3 billion.
Sure.
And
He had a big win last night too, I think.
Utah Jazz needed it, but they've had quite a seesaw.
They're not
This-
anywhere close to
and they're
losing.
kinda.
Oh no, they
losing
fucking
21.
stink.
Did have they lost 21 games in a row?
21.
That's true.
Who did that?
Detroit Pistons.
And Wemby is in the Spurs
17,
lost 17, I think 18 after last night.
So what's that mean? What I thought he was. What are we talking about?
Wemby looked great. I saw him. Was that last night or whatever? He looks awesome.
More than one guy, apparently.
Yeah, he's good. This is the same exact thing that happened with Luka when Luka went to the Mavs. Like, he wasn't the guy the first year. They got rid of 7 guys, brought in a whole
Older
new
guys
team.
normally.
Yep. Had to, like, DeAndre Jordan was gone. I forget. I wrote a bunch of them down, but it was 7. And they got rid of all of them. That next year, Luka, I mean, he was immediately a superstar. They'll do that. Like, they'll probably trade 2 of their guys, Keon Johnson, Devin Vassell. They're kind of the next 2 after Wemby. I assume they'll move them around the trade deadline, and then it's like, okay, they got capital. They'll have a top 5 pick again, and then next year it'll be Wemby and the boys.
AJ, I asked Adam Silver if Wemby was cheating, and then I looked at the record that night. It was like, well, if they are, it's not going well.
He's not fucking
It's not going well. I looked back on the interview. I was like, boy, I had to look like an absolute dipshit in that particular moment with Adam Silver. He was good on the program.
Yeah. Right.
He's obviously a brainiac. Like, that is very clear whenever you talk to him. But he was a human there for a bit.
Yeah. Bettman was awesome.
He was.
Yeah.
Little button down in the office,
chilling,
sitting on a chair. He looked so cool while he was doing that. He was on ESPN the other evening, I believe, doing an interview before the game started, and PK Subban was up there.
Yep, Messier.
He was asking questions.
Yep.
Yeah, what did PK ask him?
He asked him a couple questions.
It was awesome.
He was talking about maybe getting cheerleaders potentially.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
For the sport.
Wants to build it up, make it a show.
Yeah.
Got to be able to skate, right?
Yeah, well, that happens in a lot of places.
Ice dancers.
Ice girls.
There's the people that scrape the ice in between every single tiny break. Like they seem like they are elite skaters.
Elite, and some of them have like a performance while they're doing it. Like they like have a routine where something's moving, the other one's grooving. We got shovels everywhere.
Thought they had a Zamboni.
Hockey's awesome. That's in between periods.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whenever there's like a break.
A little quick stop.
How
Like,
long is a break in hockey?
You know how the towels come out in
In
basketball?
between the periods? Like
Yeah.
17 minutes?
Yeah. Pretty like
18 minutes?
halftime.
Zamboni.
Yeah,
I think it's
something
20, isn't it?
What's the average time? Like NFL, they want to be like 3:03,
12.
3:04. What's the average time of a hockey game?
Oh.
I don't know. You're talking about the
In
time
real
length?
time.
I don't know.
Well, so like when
2 hours probably?
Yeah, when they set
18
the
minutes.
games up, it's
18 minutes
usually-
in between periods in the NHL.
It's probably like 2 hours.
It's either 7 and 9:30 or 7:30 and 10, or when they slot the games out.
Last night, 12-round shootout. Pittsburgh Penguins get a big win over the Montreal Canadiens. Dad night for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Oh, there you
Sweet.
go.
All the fathers were up in a suite, all wearing their kids' jerseys. Sidney Crosby's dad, after Sid Barry's one home off the post in the shootout. Yeah. The goalie, Needle Jokic.
Nedeljkovic.
There it is.
You just call him Ned.
Whatever it is.
Ned?
It was a tough name to say.
Hell
He was
yeah.
standing on his head for a while. There was like 7 straight rounds of the shootout where both goalies got to stop. So, like, it goes to sudden death after 3, and the Montreal Canadiens would go down, and
Nedeljkovic.
Okay.
Ned'll Jokic.
Ned
Ned Djokovic.
Ned would get a big-time save, and then, okay, here we go. Pens can win this. Here we go. They go down, big-time save from the game. It was electrifying last night while I was watching it, but in my head, to your point about this whole thing, how long's the break, and I thought you were going with rest, that has to be the most exhausting sport. How many games? 80 of them?
82.
82 games. Now, I know NBA, a lot of running. That's gassers and everything like that. But it is so tight. The amount of energy that they just steamroll through a season with is absurd. Absolutely. That has to be so fucking exhausting. Just full sprint skate, and then you're off. And then
There's no load management either in
At
hockey.
all.
No,
No,
they're
there's-
like guys taking nights off.
So
you don't do that, right, in hockey?
last year, Kachuk, I think it was Matt Kachuk,
Yes.
had just broken everything. Let's just say he broke literally every
Sternum. Yeah.
every bone in his
Yeah.
body. They put his skates on while he was laying down, and then they propped him up onto his skates, and then they like just pushed him on the ice, and then he played a whole game.
Yeah.
It was like, this guy's dead. And then it doesn't get announced till afterwards. Oh, yeah, he had a broken femur, a broken sternum, broken finger in his right hand. His wrist was fractured in his left hand. It was like, what, dude? These dudes are maniacs.
Well, and they don't get like credit, I feel like, for being in absurd shape because they're just covered. Like in basketball, you can see dudes be ridiculously yoked or in great shape. Football, kind of same thing, like if they're on the sideline. In hockey, you never see that. And because they don't get like propped up like the other leagues. Obviously, that's a problem we've talked about a lot. Their stars aren't as well known. Like if all those guys were to line up, their legs are
huge,
massive. Like it's essentially like not the size of your legs. To
No.
that extent,
Sidney
That's
Crosby's
Sydney's thing,
legs.
isn't it? Yes. Sydney's thing is like his lower body is so powerful. That's like every guy you ever talked to that played against him says.
See, what I was about to say is like A.J. Dillon, big quads. Saquon, big quads. I happen to have larger legs. A lot of kickers have larger legs. It's like in hockey, just like Saquon and A.J. Dillon, I think, like
normal.
Kind of just run of the mill.
Standard.
And it's because their off seasons are just sprints on ice, and their off season's very short. So then they have to get into game shape, and it's like they're just phenomenally conditioned athletes.
Yeah,
over
The
there.
speed skaters in the Olympics.
Oh, same thing.
Huge.
Yeah, and like competitiveness. We talked
Dan
about.
Jansen.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
Apollo
That's what I was thinking of,
Antoniono.
AJ.
Yeah.
Apollo Antoniono, former host of A Minute to Win It.
Yes, that's
People
correct.
forget.
After Fieri.
Yeah, Fieri and that show were awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That fell off.
yeah.
That's a game that should come back. Perfect for social media.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Viral situation.
Yeah, that's exactly
Yeah,
what it
boom.
It's skating.
Nailed it.
Right on the money.
And if you're just one hiccup off,
You're done.
See ya.
Right into the
4 years
4
of training,
years, yeah.
every day of your
you
life,
imagine?
over. Those Olympians are wild.
Like the figure skater. Who's the guy? We got the guy in figure
Timmy
skating.
Nathan
Chen.
Chen.
Yeah, Nathan. Yeah,
Shit, tennis player.
He redeemed himself this Olympic.
yeah. He won gold this Olympic.
You were so confident. So I haven't seen you that confident
I
in a
know.
long
Wait, what did
time.
he say?
Timmy Chang.
Oh, boy.
Hell of a tennis player.
Nathan Chen, I believe, is
He's the
figure
guy.
skater.
What are you going to do?
Hey,
Timmy Chang was a quarterback.
That too for Hawaii. You're right.
great quarterback.
Yeah.
And then Cole
Brennan.
Cole Brennan.
Brennan
Rest in
transferred
peace.
to
Rest in
Hawaii.
peace. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Something what did happen?
I don't know. So yeah,
He was a stud.
Yeah, that
dude
was a
could
big
slang,
story.
man.
That was
a
like
big story.
That was the Hawaii team that.
Yeah, they went to the New Year's Six. over
Yeah,
there.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, that
Georgia.
in hindsight, now that I've had the incredible opportunity of going to Hawaii, and if you can, you should. But it is very far, and it costs a lot to get there. But if you can, you should. It is beautiful. It's like as soon as you get off the plane there, it just feels good. You know, like the air, the mood, the vibes, everything. And the people are top notch. Oos is awesome. You know, like it is a great country, or great state in our country. People forget that. A lot happened there. Mm-hmm. But traveling to and from that place is like a day adjustment, or maybe day and a half adjustment for most places. And they were playing football, just like, okay, we're flying in, playing a game, and then we're going to fly. And then the other team has to fly into Hawaii 7, 8 hour, 9 hour, flying to Europe pretty much.
They don't have lay down seats either. There's no way the college teams are doing that.
No way, 6 hour time zone difference. You know, it's like you're flying to a completely different.
They were in the WAC when I was playing at Ohio.
So did you play against them?
Yeah.
How was it? Was that back in the Rainbow Warriors?
Back then it was like you got on a rotation like every 3 or 4 years. So my freshman year was 79. So it was it was their turn.
16?
It was their turn to come. Come on, old man.
joking.
Now I mean, fuck.
Guys.
So they would come
it's
down.
Boston.
So I only got to go one time because they would come like 3 times to the States, and they didn't want them to travel as much, whatever. But yeah, it was a fun trip.
Whenever they figure out those planes that are real fast, look for Hawaii football to potentially come all the way back. Come all the way back. Let's look to this evening, shall we?
Here we go.
Here we go. Week 15's
Go,
kicking
Tom.
off tonight on Prime. You got Carissa Thompson.
What?
Richard Sherman.
What?
Fitzmagic.
What?
Witt.
What?
Gonzalez.
What?
Kaylee Hartung.
What?
Al Michaels.
What?
Kirk Herbstreit.
What?
Taylor Rooks.
What? Marshall.
Marshawn Lynch.
What?
Ben.
The dog.
Dog.
Did make the trip.
What?
He did.
Michael
Smith.
What?
I think that's it.
That might
I
be.
think so.
Think how much they invested into one game a week.
Quite a bit.
Love that.
All those people. They went all in for this thing. And I think the numbers this particular year have been bigger, obviously,
There you go.
than they were last year. So the future of streaming the sport that we all love, I think, is going to be a very big one because case study, just in 1 year, says, yeah, once people figure out that this is just their routine, it continues to grow. They learn, then they figure it out, and then they become masters of it. And even during commercial breaks, they even bounce back potentially to another place, then they come back. People have learned the routine of this whole thing. Massive success. Tonight, though, this might be the biggest game they've ever had.
Might be.
Easton Stick might become the next quarterback that we chat about as becoming maybe the next generation of greatness in the NFL. This guy's handled a football once or twice.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This guy's won 3 national championships. This guy, I think, was on the Indianapolis Colts for a bit. And whenever he was here, you had people from North Dakota saying, you need to play that guy. You need to play that guy. Well, tonight, he gets a chance to lead a team without Keenan Allen, but with Austin Eckler.
Hell yeah.
Into Las Vegas to take on Aiden O'Connell, Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, and interim head coach Antonio Pierce, who made a tough decision this week on who would be the starter between Jimmy G, Brian Hoyer, and Aiden O'Connell with the mustache. Chuck Pagano, you're 8-4-1, and a couple of those 4 have come as of late. Today, that changes. Today, we put out the fire.
Oh, yeah.
Put the fire out.
Come on, Chuck.
Put the fire out. Chuck used to say this, and I'm sure he's not the only defensive coach. After a turnover or a shanked punt, put the fire out to the defense as they're jogging on the field.
Love that.
Today, you put the fire out, Chuck.
Yes, sir.
Today, we win. Today, you accurately predict. Do you like the Raiders -3 or the Chargers +3 in Las Vegas tonight?
So, Easton Stick. Let's talk a little bit about the Chargers first, okay? They do have Eckler, right?
Austin.
Got the contract. We talked about that early, right?
Well,
they paid him. He was one of the whole running back deal. Nobody's getting paid.
Here you go.
We're undervaluing the position, all that. So he gets paid. He's averaging 3.7 yards per rush attempt.
I don't look at those numbers. I just look
Not
at
very good. I don't even think he has over 400 yards rushing. He's got 30. So this team is without Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen has 108 receptions.
Jesus.
The next closest guy is Eckler with 36.
Yeah,
I've never seen the disparity. 70. What is that? My math is not worth a shit.
It's like 70, yeah.
But it's a big number, right?
Yeah.
So I don't get that. Quentin Johnson, stud out of TCU, right, rookie. He hasn't come into his own.
Yeah, the numbers on that too.
What's that?
The numbers on the Quentin Johnson thing, just because he was the first receiver taken. I think the next 8 are all over 500 yards receiving.
Have to be, right?
Yeah.
Jordan, all of them, right?
Oh, just Chargers fans are up in arms. They didn't draft Zay Flowers.
As they should be. He's got 60 catches for the Ravens, the game winner last week. We all saw that.
This guy's got it.
You shitting me?
Filthy.
The guy's a baller.
You don't believe in Chargers?
Who do we say? What's the receiver con man that's back up tonight?
Josh Palmer.
Very good.
Got a good tight end, Gerald Everett. Good player.
Palmer's 8? No.
7.
The offensive line.
Everett.
Did we watch the offensive? You know why? All right, Justin Herbert, who's one of the better quarterbacks.
Sure.
I think he's top 5, 6 in the league.
Okay.
Why he's out?
Why?
The Broncos murdered him.
Oh, okay.
I mean, absolutely murdered him. Both his I don't know which finger was on his left hand. A week or two ago was broke. That's wrapped up. Now his right one was twisted backwards and lowered.
Oh, hip drop tackle.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, out to the finger.
On his hands.
So, and Easton Stick. Correct me if I'm wrong, boys in the back, but I think he's got 24 attempts as a professional quarterback.
Guy can spin it.
24. Now, he 49-3, we said in college.
Yeah.
Right?
Player.
North Dakota State, big division, big football.
No
good
tape,
football.
no tape on him out there, huh?
Good. Hey, yeah.
However.
He's 13 of 24.
Uh-oh.
He's 13 of 24.
It's not bad.
Who
told
He's
you
due.
Somebody needs to let him spin it.
Who told you that?
We're having a nice Italian Heritage Day. It was another Italian.
If you can't protect, they're going to try to run it. They ran in the first meeting. They rushed for 155 yards without Eckler, so that gives the Charger fans a little bit of hope that they can run the ball on these guys. You look to the other side. No, talk about the defense. Khalil Mack, they got a dog over there. He's got 15 sacks. in week 4 or 5, whenever they played, it was 24-17 win for the Chargers, 6 sacks.
Yeah.
Forced 3 fumbles, 3 fumbles off Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah, I remember that game.
Aiden in that one threw a pick, had 3 fumbles, lost 2. So responsible for. I don't think that's going to happen tonight. So they got Khalil Mack, they got Derwin James, Sante Samuel's over there. Davis has been in and out, at corner, but really one guy that can get after the quarterback. So I got to believe if you're the Raiders, the only thing, if I'm Antonio Pierce, like when I go to the team meeting, like when we played the Rams and we had Robert Quinn coming in, what was the one thing I said that week?
Yeah, game record. It was pretty cool. You just actually put his picture up on the screen and said, this one,
I don't
not doing
care.
it.
I don't give a fuck about nobody else. But this dude right here, he cannot wreck the game.
Yep.
And what happened?
Well, he ended up going on having the most sacks that season, and he certainly got a few against
It wasn't that season.
No, wasn't it?
He got 19 and a half at the Bears a couple seasons ago. Robert Quinn did.
Okay.
But he strip sacked Andrew. Long picked it up, ran for a touchdown. The final was 38-8. Not one of our best
They
moments.
gave away a truck at halftime to a military member that came home early.
Yes,
Oh, we just watched that video. Yeah.
That was awesome,
Yeah,
Pat,
it was a
by
very
the way.
cool moment to be a part of. Shout out to Wish for Our Heroes
Shout
for
out to
doing
you.
that and setting it all up and everything. And it had to be a Toyota, obviously, because the contracts at the time, which is certainly a conversation that was had that entire time. But
He came out of that truck, I teared up.
me
That was
too.
awesome.
Yeah, I really.
I mean, I didn't get to see it live, obviously. We're in there trying to make a few adjustments.
Yeah, well, they just took a punt back to the house as soon as the half ended as well. So it wasn't the part. You're talking about the actual
I got
worst
an
setup.
earful. I got an earful on that. Why are we kicking the ball to him?
Yeah, that was a great question. I should have put that thing out of bounds. I think that was the plan. But
I didn't tell you. I got to tell you those things.
No, I don't think so. I think that was a pretty clear situation. That one's on me. It's not
That's
as easy
on me,
just kicking
Pat.
it out of bounds.
Pat, that's on
AJ.
Sometimes it is, though, huh? Sometimes it is.
Well, when you shank one sideways. Anyways.
so
Khalil Mack not wrecking the game.
Hey, let's do everything within our power. Tight end, 2 tight ends, run it at him, and when we're going to throw the ball, a minimum of 2 blockers on him. Okay, Khalil Mack is not wrecking this game.
4
now, he's
hands.
still going to go, and 6. I don't mind 6.
Or
Okay,
if
so
they got a one-arm guy, we don't know he's at 5.
Yeah, right.
Because he likes to rush from one side and one side. He likes to rush from the left side. That's where he likes to rush.
Because it's both sides?
The offense is right. But Staley, I don't have a lot of faith in Staley if I'm Pierce. In Charger fans, I don't have a lot of faith. They're going to give us some 4th down opportunities, get some stops, get some field position. But anyway, Mack, boom. O'Connell.
Okay.
Take care of the football.
That's all we care about.
The football is what?
The program.
The program. So take care of the football. Don't turn it over.
Ball's program.
Jacobs is questionable.
Yep.
I'm anticipating him playing. Crosby, we know, is going to play. Tyree, is it Wilson, the kid rookie out of Texas Tech?
Yep.
He's got to catch fire. He's got to get going. John Jenkins inside. Let's get going.
Bubby's
Grab
playing.
your rosary
Bubby's
beads.
playing.
It's fine.
Spillane.
Spillane.
I know, it's L-A-N-E. Sorry. Spillane.
It's all right. I think I called that kid earlier Bottle instead of Battle as we are trying to announce that he's may change an NCAA rule.
So I think we're
don't worry
going to –
about it. Vinatieri.
Eckler's not. I'm not worried about the rushing yards they got in week 1. We'll stop that. We're going to get after, like if it's me, like we're gonna see if Easton can spin it. Shut down the run. Get after his ass. Crosby loose. Tyree loose. Spillane loose. Epps in the backfield. Back end loose. Let's go.
So Vegas.
So you like Raiders
Let's
-3?
I'm going with Midge, my man. I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders.
The middle gentleman -3. That's amazing.
Come on now.
All right. I like that. Look at that.
Ooh.
Way to go back there, boys. I like that thinking ahead. Holy shit, boys. Forethought in this particular program.
Come on.
Look at us. We're evolving. I'm wearing long sleeves. Huh?
How about it?
They said we weren't going to. We sold out.
Chuck had to do that so he couldn't vacillate this week.
Yeah, and he's hard on it, aren't you?
Always.
Yeah.
You would you like to change your pick?
Not only no, but fuck no.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Never
from Miss
again.
Tina.
The silver and black, Antonio Pierce,
Come on.
Come on.
Champ Keller. You're 5-8. You can bury these guys.
Come on.
Bury him.
Put their program done. They'll be done.
Done.
They're right on the verge. All you got to do is start fast, punch these fuckers right in the face,
And then boom, it's over.
and then go.
Get him out.
All right. How about you, AJ? Are you?
Compelling argument by Chuck. You see how Chuck paused after you asked him, "Hey, do you want to change?" He paused for a good 5 seconds, so he's feeling pretty good about this pick, isn't he?
Well, Miss Tina, he told us, yelled at him last week on Friday morning because as soon as she saw him waffle, she knew that they were fucked because she bets alongside of these picks. Now, obviously, Chuck does not. Chuck is a card player.
Yes. Exactly.
He just gives his picks. But Miss Tina's not scared to take advantage of what's going on. No. She's a gambler. She's a champion gambler.
She's a good gambler.
She is a good gambler.
Pretty good gambler.
She's a really good gambler, and they like gambling. Like they will go. They will go to a casino.
We might be going.
Chuck wasn't disappointed
We might be going
that
tomorrow
Super Bowl's in
night.
Vegas this year.
So,
said you were not disappointed that Super Bowl's in Vegas this year.
What is it? Slots? You do slots or cards?
Don't say slots.
I've not met a gambling table or machine that I haven't become really friendly with.
Okay,
I like too many.
Where are you headed to first? Where are you headed
But
to
she
first?
loves slots.
Okay, she loves slots.
She loves
Play blackjack?
My wife loves slots as well. You a blackjack guy?
Yeah.
Love blackjack.
Yeah, that's a go-to.
That's where I had.
It's fun group activity if you get a good table.
Oh my God, you get a good table, AJ. To your point, oh Lord.
Get a bad table also. Need to.
Wow.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.
Get out.
And if it's a bad deck or what, get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if the
return.
shoe is bad, don't be scared.
You got a system, the 22448, whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a full. You know that movie 21, obviously. So I got the book.
Ben Campbell.
On how to do it all. I've never read a book in my life, but I've made a promise to myself that is going to be the first one because I feel like my brain, what it remembers and how it remembers stuff, could be good if I learn how that whole thing works. Now you got to be a genius though. Those motherfuckers are genius. Those MIT.
They were a team too, though. There's multiple people in play when they're doing all that.
Yeah, but you can still get an advantage if you know where the hell the shoe is. You know what I mean? You could get, and I think Dana is a guy that understands that. Dana White is one of those guys.
Seems like it.
Yeah, he's been kicked out of many. He's been kicked out of many casinos forever. And then Red Rock is, I think, a friend of his, one that used to own the UFC, and he's just posting videos of gambling with people. They're winning like $250,000.
Oh yeah.
Down, coming back. He's crushing people.
Like he goes like.
Yeah.
Guys come out, here's another 100,000. White.
He's done good for himself.
Yes, he has.
Oh, Dana White.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Especially with where he's at right now with how jocked up he is.
I saw a clip. He won $2 million off a hand.
But to win the $2 million, you got to know that that's the hand you're probably going to win. You know, like that's a whole nother thing. That is goes into the blackjack. And I need to read that book someday. And also, can't wait to sit down at a blackjack table with you and Miss Tina, Chuck. AJ, are you going with the home of slot machines and blackjack tables?
Ooh.
The Las Vegas Raiders here, -3?
Yes. So Max Crosby is going to play, right?
Yep.
He's questionable.
What was he dealing with? What was it? You know?
Tired.
Thigh?
Either way,
Tired.
if he's on the field, we know he's going 100%.
He's winded. He can't. He doesn't get winded, actually.
No, he practiced yesterday too, so he's definitely going.
Okay.
Nice.
100.
Yeah, of course. Give me the Raiders. I was on board before I heard Chuck's whole, everything he laid out, and he reinforced my thinking of Raiders here. I love the Raiders here. I think it's a great play.
I agree with the Raiders -3 for all the reasons that have already been stated. I apologize to the Chargers, but man, no good real feeling about your team whenever I think about it. That's not good.
No.
Because we love the Chargers around here. We also love SeatGeek, and right now we are in gift buying time.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay? We are in gift buying time, and a lot of great football is right around the corner. We already talked about Super Wildcard Weekend and the playoffs and the Super Bowl and bowl season that's happening right now. You're live, but are you living? Go live and experience something live with our friends at SeatGeek, and right now, $30 off all football tickets.
Whoa.
$30 off. Now, you won't be able to buy the 45-cent tickets for the Panthers this weekend with this particular code. I think it has to be more than $30, obviously. But buy some football tickets as a gift to a loved one, a significant other, maybe somebody you don't like. Just get them out of your life for 4 hours.
There you go.
Could be absolutely anything. Download the SeatGeek app and use the promo code PAT30. That's PAT30, and you get $30 off all football tickets. That's any NFL or college football purchase. Doesn't matter if you're new or a repeat purchaser. It's a great time of year to give a gift. Why not make it a football ticket? SeatGeek is the greatest ticket buying platform on planet Earth and
the moon.
That's right. If you ever have a live event on the moon, I would think that they would be using SeatGeek as their ticket app.
For sure.
All right. Let's get the fuck out of here, shall we? Chuck.
Good job, Chuck.
You've had a great day today.
Yeah, great job.
Great day.
Oh,
Except for no
You had a
donut.
great day today.
Good work, Chuck.
No, you guys.
He brought in some banana bread that he made.
Delicious.
So
I didn't make that.
Incredible.
I can't take credit for that.
Okay.
But it's unbelievable.
Good.
You didn't make what?
You did.
What happened?
Wait, who
Who
made
the
it?
hell made it?
You
then?
didn't make
Tina made it?
Who made it? Who
what
was
happened?
supposed to be
How
trusted?
do we-
AC Calhoun gave it to me for a little Christmas.
Icy?
Ice.
Anthony Calhoun, AC, Indianapolis legend, runs Wish TV sports department, which Chuck does a weekly hit on.
Nice.
Yeah, Chuck's on the promo and everything. He's the coach, the old coach,
He
talking
is the
about
coach.
the team
That's sweet.
on Wish TV. AC, the legend of a human being. He gave that banana bread to you. AC, I want to let you know, he regifted your banana bread.
Yeah, what the hell?
To the office today.
That's
and
weird.
it was incredible. We are very, very grateful for it.
Oh,
that was the best taste of banana bread I've ever had in my entire life.
100%.
Thank you for doing it.
One of his producers, Ross Bowen, was there, and he can imitate. He does me. He can do you.
Nice. I've heard a couple people do me.
Jim,
Whoa.
and the owner, Ty, the owner for the Fever.
I have
Any idea?
No idea.
Ty.
Southern Gale, I guess.
Tom Johnson.
Ty, come
I
on.
guess it's a
What is the owner of the Indiana Fever?
Southern Gale. She's like, we'd love to have
don't
old
have-
Caitlin
Oh,
Clark
my-
come on up in
Ty.
here.
What
We
is-
take good care of Caitlin.
I like that the WNBA is becoming a part of our conversations.
Yeah.
We need more of
That's
that,
right.
obviously.
I'll look into it.
Is that really who she is? That the owner of the Fever?
Who was that?
That was the owner of the
is that
Indiana
Can
Fever.
anybody look
Sounds
it
like a
up?
nice gal.
Was she at the party last night? Was she
I
at
hope
the?
I'm not speaking out. I could be way off.
That's all right. Hey, that's his
I had
show.
a couple pop.
Chuck, are you ever,
I might have had a couple
Chuck,
pop.
What if Chuck has no idea who he talked? I think I talked to Herb Simon.
Is that her?
The owner of the Pacers is also the owner
Maybe it's a wife.
of the Indiana Fever. I'm
Maybe
not
it's
sure.
the head. No, it's the head coach. Who's the head coach?
Oh, of LSU?
Kim Mulkey.
No, of the Fever.
Indiana Fever. You were with
Fever.
the head
Bill
coach of the Indiana Fever last night?
Phil Jackson.
I can't believe Ty doesn't have this in his repertoire.
Yeah, the head coach of a professional team here in the city in
Who's
which
the
you
head
You don't
live.
have an impression?
Where's
no.
was
Was this a party?
Was it Christy Sides?
Where's she from? Let's look up where she's
We're
from.
really
Baton
going to
Rouge.
go on
She's
a
from
rabbit
Baton
trail.
Where did we see this
She's
person?
from Baton
This
Rouge,
old
Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Yeah, there's
That's
a
gotta
chance
be.
she has.
That's gotta be Chuck.
She has a
That's
great accent.
That's the one, AJ.
All right,
That's
Make
the
sure you
one.
get on that.
Ty, pick
will.
up
I will.
what appears to
Probably
be
the same as
occasion
All I
potential.
could think about was like, got to pass this on because you would love.
It's probably
this
the
one.
same
You
as
would-
Kim.
While you were talking to her last night?
No, I wasn't talking to her. I was talking to a dude, Ross,
Who was
who's on-
talking to
on the. He's the producer
Oh, got it.
for AC, and he does the imitation of her. And it was
Gee,
hilarious.
what a fucking witch hunt.
What?
Where did this
This
banana
guy-
bread come
what?
from, Chuck?
Yeah, who gave us the banana bread? Hey, Anthony
Are you
Calhoun.
feeling a little bit?
AC.
No, it feels. They taste delicious.
so
I love banana bread.
Chuck, are you ever
awesome.
critical of the Colts on your Wish TV thing?
Yeah, hometown show. What do you do?
Are you ever critical of them? If you are, do you ever think about calling the coach and asking to come and speak to the team before you're critical of them on a show? Or?
That's a good question too.
Would never. No, we don't air it. That's a great question. No, just get your ass in here, Ben.
Go talk to Tom.
Hey,
Yeah, you should tell Tom.
Hey, when you do that local
sit
show,
behind that big mic and
hey, when you do that local show,
Chuck checks in.
is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Chuck Jackson, nice.
I've seen this stuff pop up.
Like
I've seen the promotional things. I've
seen the promo sheet.
They
Yeah,
sent me this sweet backdrop.
I was going to say he's got an
Chuck
awesome
checks
step
in
and
on it.
repeat.
and you saw him.
The thing is,
Yeah,
I don't deserve it. I mean,
What do you do? There, you just break down the entire team.
they
or
just
you-
ask me questions, and
It's like
Sent,
Shane Steichen. If you were Shane Steichen, what would you do?
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
situation?
Hey, going in the down the stretch playoff hunt, what advice you giving Shane Steichen? I'm the last guy, AC, to be giving Shane Steichen
Okay, all right.
any advice.
Okay,
this
I
guy
love that.
obviously got the team going in the right direction.
What's the show called? Colts Kickoff.
It's countdown to kickoff. CTK.
Oh, it's on Sunday.
Wish. Let's go.
Chuck
There he
checks
is.
in.
Chuck checks in.
Boom.
There it is.
Look how cool you look, dude.
You voted.
You look super cool. You look really cool.
The last episode, I did my cutoff. You remember for the brand?
Yeah.
And I cut it off the week that I was Bill.
Yeah.
Patriots.
From last
No
year.
sleeves.
How'd you look? Pretty jocked?
Sweet.
Did you look pretty jocked?
For me, yeah.
You think you're going to win tonight?
Tina loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, this is no brainer. I've already got, or Tina's already got her.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Love that.
That's how the Iowa Hawkeyes
Yeah, okay.
and the Iowa State kids.
That's right.
All right, before we get out of here, Chuck, let's go ahead and let the universe decide how good our vibe should be for tonight's
Come
bet.
on, Chuck.
You want to throw a football? What do you want to do? You're a football guy. All right, here we go.
Come on, Chuck.
We might need to move Jabba.
Yeah,
Okay,
go,
Jabba.
A little bit.
Been running a 4-2 these days.
Yeah, moving.
Chuck Pagano looks sweet in his military hoodie. We have an update, I think, on AQ Shipley.
Oh, really?
Still alive out there.
Okay.
Still alive. Way to go, AQ. Shot there in War Games.
Did not see that.
Is he home yet?
An update today, did we?
I think he might be on his way out here soon in the next couple hours. We'll see if we hear from him. But you're right. We have not gotten an update in some time.
I'm starting to worry.
I think there's a chance last night, War Games, the boys might have had a good time.
Okay. Oh.
And if he's representing for professional football, they might try to, you know what I mean, AJ? How that whole thing goes?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure AQ did well. I'm sure he did well in that crowd.
Yeah, I think so, too. I think he handled himself well. I couldn't even imagine when he got a little boozed up, he started holding court when he was saying to these Navy SEALs.
Yes.
What was coming out of his mouth?
There's a few stories.
They probably asked him, what's it like playing for Joe Pa? Was Sandusky on the staff when you were there? Can you imagine?
What's wrong with you?
I don't know if that's immediately what they're going to ask.
I would assume that's one of the first questions when they heard he was a Penn State guy.
Maybe there is a couple Big Ten Navy SEALs out there who just want to immediately go to that. AQ has some stories about housing some booze that could potentially probably lead the whole conversation, and then I assume the SEALs have some stories.
Oh
Yeah.
And then that just gets going, And then all of a sudden, AQ's up 2:33 a.m. thinking to himself, we got 5 a.m.
Yeah.
wake up call. And then today might have been a tough one for him. But AQ persevered for the good of football.
Come on, Goosh.
And for the good of football, Chuck, with your big-time pick tonight to get us back on the right side of gambling gods everywhere, all you got to do is throw the football into that hoop right over there. And if you do that, 15 people, $500. And also, big news, got to chat to the people at Venmo.
Sweet.
More specifically, president of PayPal and Venmo, named Alex,
not Elon,
who said, I don't think he sold it. He's founder. Okay. I think he is no longer a part of the company. And PayPal would go on to buy Venmo and kind of do the entire thing. So when we do these giveaways, we say, just let us know the easiest way to pay you digitally. Like Venmo normally ends up being right alongside of our entire thing because how many people have Venmo. But they had a restriction on how much we could pay out. So we've been trying to find a person at Venmo that would lift our restriction so we could pay out more people because there became a bottleneck of our winners on Venmo. So shout out to Alex and the people at PayPal and Venmo for efficiently taking care of that last night after I tweeted and said, hey, anybody got anybody at Venmo? It was like a desperation heave. We'd emailed like 15 different people all in the thing, and we get like hey, we will, I don't think they fully comprehend what goes on. So shout out to Venmo for getting that sorted. We appreciate you.
Let's go, Alex.
A lot of people got a lot of money today because the bottleneck was kind of relieved, and we're incredibly thankful to be in a position to do that. And also, anybody that watches this show and has helped us get to this point, you deserve to win some shit too.
Hell yeah.
And all Chuck has to do is bury that ball into that hoop and 15 more winners of $500 on this glorious Week 15 Thursday, December 14th. For the people, Chuck! Oh, too strong.
It was right on. That's the line.
AJ, you have anything to say to Chuck here before he attempts his second throw to win 20 people? $500 here on this Thursday, December.
Chuck, I'm always positive here, Chuck. Sorry to cut you off there. How do you feel about this next throw, Chuck? I want to ask you.
It's a good question.
It's going to go in, right, Chuck?
I feel really good.
Okay.
All right.
In turn, I feel pretty good about this, Chuck. Also, what size shoe do you wear, Chuck? Those are pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if he's just going to give you the shoes off his feet, but I understand.
No, I don't want them. I just want to know.
You don't want them?
He's going to buy him a pair.
Obviously, I know what you're doing.
What's that?
12. It's probably size 12.
Yeah,
looks like 11 and a half from here.
Pat's a 12.
I am a 12.
I'm a 9.5.
Oh.
Are you seriously?
No.
I don't believe that.
Grow up.
No way. No.
9.5?
Grow up, Chuck.
So am I.
You can buy.
He's got some sweet feet, though. That's why he's playing DB, laying the wood, because he's got those sweet feet.
Yeah, but you get to save so much money when you buy the kid sizes. That is
crazy. Youth?
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Because with the blue, I noticed them as well as soon as you turned the corner, AJ. I think that's why you asked the question, because you saw me like, damn, those are some nice shoes. Those are those on clouds.
Oh, yeah.
Feels like you're walking on a clouds.
What's your favorite cigar, AJ?
Anything Connecticut wrapper, mild. I don't really have like a favorite go-to.
So, okay, so it's not like a Macanudo or an Ashton or a...
No, I mean, I love Ashtons, but those things, when I buy boxes of 25 at a time a couple times a week, those price adds up for Ashtons, that's for sure.
Yeah, you think you're smoking too much? You think you're smoking too much, maybe?
I don't know. That thought runs through my brain every once in a while late at night.
And then you just compress them down.
Yep. Fuck it.
And say, excuse me.
How much is too
Don't
much?
need you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love these things.
Pretty much.
Think about
This guy's chain smoking cigars.
It's all relative.
Jesus.
I really only smoke on the show, though. Like, that's the weird.
Okay.
Sure.
That's.
I mean, I will smoke somewhere else, but I very rarely.
How many do you go through on the show?
I don't know. What do you think? Maybe 1 or 2?
You tell us. I don't know.
What do you mean?
Yeah, probably like anywhere from 2 to 6. I would say
6 in one show you've done before.
But I don't waste. Like I don't smoke them down to the bare minimum. Like I get done after.
You're leaving
I don't
some
like
meat
to
on
take
the
them too
bone.
though.
You're leaving some meat on the bone out there.
Smart.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, well, I think we should maybe talk about that at some point.
Yeah, figure that out.
You know, I don't know if that's sustainable.
It's not.
But appreciate you found whatever makes you feel good, though.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's just searching for their own happiness.
That's right.
Everybody does their own thing. You know what will make 20 people happy?
What's that?
Chuck Pagano can bury that football
Chuck.
into that hoop right over there. All you got to do, Chuck, is make it for 20 people to win $500 in this glorious.
Too hard.
It's getting closer though.
Might need
You just lower that a
back
little
up
bit.
to-
Yeah, you're gunning it.
Yeah, he's too strong.
Too strong.
Yeah.
Too strong. Hey, Chuck, real quick before you go there, Tone Diggs, who saw Ben Roethlisberger play quarterback at a high level for a long time for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has something to tell you about what he saw in your first 2 throws.
Coach, you have a kind soul, a sweet soul, a wise soul. And from deep down in my soul, it feels like you're going to make this one.
Ooh.
I appreciate the hell out of you, Paisan.
Love you, Paisan.
You guys kind of teamed up against another Paisan earlier in the show today, but
That was fun.
Julio. That's such a sweet name.
It is, isn't it?
If I could, I'd change.
Anthony
Like-
DeJoule.
Whoa,
Hey,
whoa.
wait, as
Whoa,
the
whoa.
alpha
Charlie
as the
DeJulio?
alpha in my family, I will let you in.
Whoa.
What did you just say?
You heard what I said.
Holy
Whoa.
shit. Coach, what the
Coach,
hell is
where's
going
Coach?
Mikey
Where is
Dog.
Coach?
Mikey Dog's
Coach.
not happy
Yeah.
either.
on? Coach DeJulia, what the hell is going on over there? He ain't going to be. He's burning through 6 cigars right now, too.
He just heard that, and I think he might be driving.
I did this
here right
before
now.
Thanksgiving's too. I like to stir the pot a little before I know I'm going to go home and see him.
He's going to have the same exact feeling that he had whenever they lost to the Norwin Pepperonis.
Oh,
yeah,
boy.
Coach is a big cigar guy.
You think he's going to call in the crew?
Tone, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if it's the right one. Because you just gave a motivational speech to Chuck, and then you just say, hey, Coach Diggs, you lost it, old man.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Coach Diggs might
No, because
show
I
up
know
here.
when I come home, he'll put his fist right in the middle of my chest and let me know. And I like to do that every once in a while.
Just wake the bear a little bit.
Yeah.
For the good of Coach Diggs, the alpha of the DeJulio family until,
Big.
Yes.
you know, he says he isn't. And 25 people who could win $500. All Chuck Pagano has to do is bury this football into that hoop right over. Does sound like Tone maybe is the alpha.
That was your worst throw ever,
That was tough. That was a tough one.
by far.
Yeah, Coach Diggs ain't going to be thrilled.
It was your third one. You've just been missing terribly up the
Hey,
whole time.
it doesn't matter what you just did. It's about what you're about to do, and that's win 20.
Oh, do that. Go right at it, Chuck.
That was a good throw.
Beautiful.
You know which ball.
Get the pipsqueak
Throw the,
football.
Yeah, the Bama
throw the
ball.
little baby Stanley. Throw that.
You're the best thrower of that one.
Ladies and gentlemen, a coach for 36 years in football, 18 in college, 18 in the NFL.
Oh, rim.
He throws it well.
He does.
Where's
spin
the
it.
Russ Wilson ball?
Oh, you don't.
AQ. Oh, no. That was a bad decision.
What was that?
Ooh, almost on the bounce.
Into the kitchen.
Not bad. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
What
That was
about the
pretty
Duke?
big.
There's a Duke on
There
the
was a
ground.
goal in hockey last night that was like that. Like the angle in which you put that ball into that door. It wasn't a good one.
You good? 2 left.
Sure.
This one, that one.
Is that all? You tell me.
Just make it.
Coach Chuck Pagano. Oh, no. Oh.
He's all jacked up.
A Mountain Dew.
What are you all jacked up about? He's all jacked up because he's back. He's back, you know. He's picking winners again.
I hope.
He's back in the winning horse, in the stallion barn.
That was a good ball.
It's a graveyard out there.
Oh, calibrate.
He and Tina about to bankrupt a casino tomorrow.
Everywhere.
If Tina lets him in the house.
I'll tell you
Might
what.
not.
Life does have a funny way of doing the right thing. Everything has to happen because it is happening. And you just have to acknowledge that and move forward. What that ball is about to do for you and your confidence going into this weekend is going to be something that they'll write movies about. An impossible to throw football finds its way into a hoop from a coach that just missed 50 shots. If you're able to accomplish that, 30 people will win $500 this holiday season on December 14th. Ladies and gentlemen, Paisano, Chuck Pagano.
Here you go, Chuck.
For the people winning some money. Holy shit.
Almost.
No, it's the dorsal fin.
Yeah, the dorsal fin's tough.
That thing has a mind of its own. Well, maybe next week.
Maybe next
week, Chuck. It's not that.
Next week is Christmas
Next week is
so.
holiday.
Sorry, people.
Christmas week.
Yeah, save it for Christmas.
That was awful.
No, because every time you do that, people remember how hard of a shot it is.
That's right.
If you were to make it every time, people would be like, that's easy.
Yeah, anybody can do it.
Because you remember, you did, AQ Shipley missed a bunch, and then he just grabbed a basketball. Smash.
Fuck it.
It's a tough shot, Chuck. You shouldn't be expected to make it every time. But when you do, we're all very grateful. Just like we are for what you did today. Great work, Chuck. AJ, great work, pal. Boys, fantastic job. Can we get a shot of Gumpy's fit today? This dude looks so clean. Gump, we need
Sit up, Goop.
Can we turn the lights on too so we get this?
You're going to have to come out here.
Gump, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of puppeting him right now, and I don't know if he loves this, but look at the fit. Gray on gray.
Wow.
With the chain. Oh, wide.
Hell yeah.
Wide.
Thank you. Far too kind.
Looks like a little Travis Kelce.
Whoa.
He does.
What was
Travis Kelce said
Good-looking
some
guy.
stuff. Travis Kelce said some stuff on the New Heights podcast. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll react to this game tomorrow. We have Nick Saban on tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff tomorrow we're very pumped about. Thank you to the Attorney General for joining us earlier today, if you do recall. Thank you to Michael Lombardi for joining us. Thank you to Chuck. And you all are the greatest people on earth. Did I miss somebody?
Big Perk.
Oh, fuck, yeah. Big Perk. Late edition.
Yeah, late edition.
That was a great conversation.
It was
Absolutely.
awesome. He's hilarious.
He picked Boston, too, just for you.
I think Greg,
You planted that in his head earlier.
No. We should.
As somebody that is from Boston and went to games to watch you, man.
You and Rondo.
I mean, I didn't like how he sounded. He made it seem like he didn't do anything. He was a massive reason that team won a championship.
Yeah, that's why I know Perk. I remember him on the court. He was also in Oklahoma City, right?
Yep.
Might have won too if they didn't trade him.
Yeah, him and KD. And
Well, they lost the next year, and unfortunately, a lot of people do blame Perk for that, but I don't. Scored like 68 points. It's not on Big Perk when you score damn points. It's Paul Pierce. Fucker.
Okay. We don't need Barry. What are we?
I'm just saying.
We're on our way out.
I can see him on the TV right now. He got a
Top
hat
hat
on.
on?
Oh, my God.
Yeah. He said he's trying to get back in weight. He said, I touched 400, and I said,
Can't
got to
have
come back down. He's a good person to speak about the Zion situation.
Yeah,
It's like,
perfect.
hey, come on. All of us, we have the ability to get bigger than other people. Some people can just have McDonald's and eat everything, and they're able to remain in great shape. Like, there's some of us, and I'm adding myself, but Perk was talking, like, we got to,
Got to focus.
maybe on the plane, instead of eating what everybody else is eating, let's try an alternate option. Maybe Zion will do that. Anyways, hopefully somebody reaches them. And hopefully the Raiders cover -3 tonight so that we're all celebrating.
Yep.
You're the best people on earth for allowing us to do this every single day. We are so incredibly grateful. Be a friend. Tell a friend something nice that might change their life. Goodbye.